Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
All right, the crossover is brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. First pitch 2 hours away. Listen to that background, that ambient sound of a ballpark. Good morning, boys.
Hello. Don't we love an ambient sound of a ballpark? I love it.
That sounds like what I fall to sleep with every night. What I hear.
Oh,
in the
do you
background
listen to Sleepy Time Baseball?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's Sleepy Time Baseball?
Sleepy Time Baseball is this podcast that we found a couple years ago, where it's play-by-play to like a fake baseball game, and it's designed to like put you to sleep. Like it is a sleep helper.
Oh my god,
really, really good. I like that.
Nothing gets you on that pillow like a ground out to second, right?
I'll tell you what I need silence when I sleep. Baseball gets me revved up.
Good take.
I don't need any baseball, that's for sure.
Do you guys get a sleep mask?
No, what do you mean?
Like,
no.
The sleep mask where you put the mask over your eyes and then you
okay.
because apparently people can't close their eyes on their own. And
My
that's
wife does that.
That's a lot of people do that. I feel like every time there's a reality TV show, those rich people are always sleeping with the sleep mask on.
It works.
I'll tell you what. Well, they give it to you on like if you're sitting up toward the front of the plane, they slip it in the back pocket there, or they give it to you as you walk on.
Yeah.
That is a place where that could actually work for me, because a lot of times you need to block out the light on the plane. But like while I'm in my dark room on my own pillow in my own bed, no, I don't need that.
Hello. You said the front of the plane. You didn't want to say first class.
Yeah,
the front of you're sitting near the front of the plane.
That was very
you know
Bill
what I'm talking
Simmons
about.
of you.
What's the last time you got upgraded to first class, or you purchased first class?
I have never sat first class, point blank, period, because I mostly, like 85% of the time, fly Southwest Airlines.
That's right.
I have better chance to sit first class because my sister's an airline pilot.
Nice.
You do?
Yes.
A lot better,
yes,
Joey.
I do.
I bought a United Club pass on my last flight out from O'Hare.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have been in the club.
It's
I
great.
love the clubs.
Yes, we've
Bottle
been in
full
the
of
club.
bub?
We've been in the club together.
Oh, that's right, Gary. Yes, we went to the club together, but we had to decide how to spend our free money. It was like, do you want to take a spin on the golf simulator inside the Minneapolis
Really?
airport,
Yeah.
or do you want like beer at 9:00 in the morning? And we chose beer.
You guys, I only got one free beer. That was it. And then I was on my own from the rest of the time out there. But I got there at a time where I could have breakfast and I could have a lunch. So I had some salmon
That's a
and
nice
lox.
layover.
And then I had a mozzarella and tomato sandwich with a mushroom bisque. And it was quite
I'd say-
incredible.
We just follow around Chris Prudon.
Yes,
we don't
we
ask. We don't ask any questions, and we really didn't need to be in the lounge at all because our layover was like less than an hour. But
Nice.
we got in there. Don't worry.
It was the first moment where I was like, I work, I make money, I'm able to do some nicer things. I want to do this. And so I did it.
Hey, Joey, have you ever been on a flight where she's giving you a shout out over the PA?
No, I have not gone on a flight with her piloting, and I think I'm glad.
Whoa.
I've been
You
in
should
a
be
car.
Well, she's not a pilot, right? She's a flight attendant,
no,
or she's a pilot.
She's a pilot.
Oh, she's flying them.
Whoa.
That's
She's
even
a
worse
pilot.
what you just
Women
said.
can be pilots.
It's all right, Josh. Enough. I just misheard. I misheard.
Men
okay.
can be nurses and women can be pilots. Okay, that's what I'm learning.
Yeah, I know Gaylord Fokker.
Support the
I have
woman,
nipples,
Connor.
Greg.
He was a male nurse.
So wait a minute. You're not expressing a lot of confidence here. Is she based out of Omaha?
No, she's based out of Detroit.
Well,
Used
Nah,
to
man.
be based out of New York.
what
Now
if
Detroit.
somebody gets onto her flight? They were like, I listened to 1620 The Zone, and your brother said, this might be,
Most people don't know she's my.
this might be Soul Plane.
How how good how good is your sister's
She.
will be coming
I
around the
have
flight deck here in a couple of minutes. Our flight to
So her-
Omaha should be estimated about
So her fiance is a captain for the airline she
hour
works
and
with as
45.
well. So he's got a lot better in his announcing.
So
yeah, it
she-
should be quick up and down, 58 minutes.
So she hooked up with a fellow pilot?
today.
Yes, she did.
Whoa. Better than like a male flight attendant.
That's how she went to Ohio State and graduated.
Oh,
What do we think these guys are doing out here, Josh?
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, guys.
All right,
Yeah,
you guys
anyway,
should-
talking
No, you guys should probably describe the grown
Grown
that are
men.
shirtless.
They're grown men.
Okay,
They're grown
so
men.
still, Josh is going to take a picture just so you guys have visual confirmation of this. There is still a group of men in right center field. They are playing hacky sack shirtless. We are less than 2 hours before first pitch.
Oh, my
And
God.
now they have set up an area on the apron on the first base side. It looked like they were going to do something, but it looks like they are shooting short ground balls like short hops into a short hop machine, which I didn't know existed. But they have these tiny chairs. It's like a bullpen for short hop practice. I'm all in.
Is the only short hop machine I need.
Well, hey, they have I wonder if Coach Kingston will keep the bunting station that they do. There's no other teams in college baseball that do a bunting station for BP, but Creighton has done it as long as I can remember.
Isn't it the KBO? Don't they do the bunting derby? The bunting accuracy
They have a
derby?
bunt derby, but like Creighton every single day during BP has a side bunting station.
We should do a bunting derby in the All-Star game. I think
it'd be electric.
Thrilling. That'd be incredible. Get Albert
love
Amora Jr. out there.
Well, you guys.
But I love what the Mud Hens are doing. I love what they're cooking right now.
Are they your pick it to click it right now?
Yeah, I just like their vibe. I mean, we got shirts off and
You sound like me at the Omaha Baseball Village. Matt, why do you like Gulf Carolina? Oh, they give off a great vibe. You know?
Well, speaking of you at the College World Series, guess who's pitching today?
Yes.
I know. I told him earlier.
my friend,
Yeah.
my very good friend.
The guy that has a restraining order.
He does
against him.
not have a restraining order against me. All right? Everyone wants to think that I was bugging him the entire time. He talked more than I did when I met him.
because he was nervous. He
No,
didn't know what was going
wasn't.
to happen to him.
That's not true.
Hey,
He doesn't seem like a particularly talkative guy. I saw him the other night, and he wasn't. It's not like he was conversing with me. I don't know, Matt. I don't know what happened for that hour and a half you were talking his ear off, but it must have been really different.
I was not talking his ear off. He was talking my ear off, okay? And I told him he could be a good broadcaster. He's
I'm
a
going to
good
go
guy.
ask him
He's a
after
great
his
guy.
start today. We're going to go ask him for.
Please don't.
We need to get some confirmation on all of this, how that went.
It went great. I mean, it went. I had a good time.
Hey, speaking of bunting, I've never asked this. Not the bunting that you put like on the facade, like having a big special event.
Love
Josh,
that.
Love it.
how do we feel that one of the most important games in the history of your beloved Atlanta Braves ended on a bunt?
Well, I love that.
92, the World Series ended on a bunt. Remember?
Respect the game.
Damn Otis Nixon.
Were you was it Braves versus Cardinals? Was that the infield fly game?
Yes.
Yeah, that was 2012. It was one of the first wild card games. We were just talking about it the
Those
other
people
day.
littered the field.
Oh,
Scoundrels.
they should have. That was a hunk of you know what?
They should litter the field this year.
Oh, Josh is not happy about his team.
I texted Josh and I said, hey, we'll probably talk about the Braves tomorrow on the show. I haven't watched them as much as you have. How would you describe your team this season? And
Injured
he
in
told
the
me,
hospital.
He told me the Atlanta Braves couldn't score on your blank sister. Your
Wow. Oh no, I know what I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were
Yes,
able to
boy.
fill in that blank?
Yeah. They
That's
couldn't
very
score on
interesting.
your-
I can't wait for Josh to go to the Royals Braves game in 2 weeks and nobody scores the entire series. It's going to be awesome.
What about
Although the Royals did hit 4 home runs last night. That
That's
was
right.
Hey, they loved me some dingers last night.
Yeah, we're back. Bobby Witt Jr. is hitting home runs. He's doing the thing. There's a Bobby Witt Jr. bobblehead day right here at Werner Park on Saturday,
Yeah.
which we're excited about.
Do you think
around
there'll
here.
be
Also,
a-
Josh is excited about Harry Potter night on Friday.
Just my calendar is filled up so quickly.
Oh,
Not sure I'm going to be able to get there.
I'll be there, Josh. I'll be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, he's definitely not coming.
Yeah,
Mm.
I might pass on Harry Potter night. But you know where I might go, speaking of that world? Disneyland. I just got a notice. Disneyland's annual Lost and Found rummage sale is coming up next month.
What?
This is a
yeah.
good odd news story
Yes.
This
every
is a
year.
thing.
And
Yeah.
I need one today.
So
Yeah.
Disneyland's annual Lost and Found sale, the proceeds go to charity, is next month. And so anything over the last year that they have collected, they put out and you can purchase it. Like like these really nice backpacks that get left behind, water bottles, of course, power chargers, sunglasses. Like people lose like $2,000 to $3,000 sunglasses at Disneyland.
I have a couple of Ray-Bans that have probably been sold in the Disneyland garage sale. Thomas Fidoni's in-game worn gloves will be there as well.
You lost sunglasses at Disney World, Matt?
Yeah,
You
I
left
put
them
them
there
in Space Mountain. I took off my glasses and I put it in the little cubby.
in the cubby.
And but the cubby is right in front of you, so it's like you got to remember when you get off, you got to reach back in the cubby. I forgot to reach back in the cubby, and then I went back in the line, and then I went through every single cubby, couldn't find them.
Wow.
So I lost.
So they were stolen.
Maybe. I don't know, but I didn't have my Ray-Bans anymore, and I've never bought a pair of Ray-Bans since because there's no point in me buying sunglasses. Me buying sunglasses is useless.
What's TSA do with the stuff they confiscate or is left behind?
They probably take it home.
Oh, I think they have a they have a lost and found
Yeah, they
at the
usually
end.
do.
Yeah, they have like a don't they have an event like Disney does as well?
Joey,
like
do
where
they
they
have
start-
they have good stuff in there?
Most of the times, I had to retrieve my suitcase a long time ago over there.
How did you forget your suitcase?
You wild man.
Well, actually, they misplaced my suitcase. So, whoever was putting the suitcase in the planes, they misplaced it on the way back. So, it was just left over at the Lost and Found.
Wow, that stinks.
So you had to venture back?
Oh,
This was a long time ago.
Have you guys ever had to have your suitcase like delivered to your dwelling, your house?
yes, I've had. They used to. I think they still do it. Like if you live in Lincoln or elsewhere and you don't live
Correct.
in Omaha, Omalink delivers your suitcase.
That's exactly what happened to me. I was living in Lincoln
That's pretty
and
cool. I didn't know
I was
that.
flying back from wherever, and it was one of the days. I mean, this happens like 3 times a year for Southwest. Like their entire computer system just completely explodes 2 or 3 times a year. And I just happened to be flying on one of those days several years ago. I was living in Lincoln, and I get back, and my bag's not there, and a couple days later, it shows up on my doorstep, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay, that's nice. That's all my belongings. Fantastic."
I have never had a suitcase issue in all of the traveling that I have done, but I know it's on the way. Like I know
Oh,
it's coming. I know it's coming. I know that
It's going to be at the worst time you could ever imagine.
Yes.
Just make sure you have your important documents on you.
Yeah. But I know that they're going to lose my bag, or my bag's going to end up in Portland while I'm meant to go to Houston or something like that. Or like I'm going to open it up and everything is stolen or everything is gone.
It's funny
gonna
because
happen.
people, you can get lulled into a false sense of security on that. I probably am guilty of it right now. I'm sure you are as well, Matt, where you haven't had a problem. Like, I don't worry about that stuff. People are really particular about not checking their bags because they don't want it to leave their side. I don't care. That's fine. They'll take care of it. And there's about a 95% chance that it's going to end up where it needs to end up. I don't concern myself with those things. I just trust.
Speaking about those things
Trust
figuring
boy.
themselves out, I flew home to Chicago, and on my flight home to Chicago,
You're from Chicago.
we're flying in from O'Hare. And we're getting down, and we're very close to, like, we're literally on the runway. We're on the runway
In Chicago?
In Chicago, we're getting there. I see the airplane. I see all the trailers. I see the other planes. I see the gates, and we're there. And then all of a sudden, we go. Shh, we burst back up, like full throttle up. We pull up, and we do a loop, and everyone is freaking out. They're like, "What the hell's
Did a
going on?"
go-around.
We did a go around. The pilot doesn't talk for a good 8 minutes while we're just flying up and around. And he goes, "Yeah, we were supposed to be landing there, and there was a airplane that was still on the runway we were going to land on, so we had to pull up." And I go, "Oh, so I almost died? I almost just died there? Is what you're telling me? We almost crashed into another plane?"
Yeah, that just happened on a flight from Omaha to Chicago like a couple months ago. Remember, it was
he
that
pulled
plane
up.
just
No, same thing. Not same thing that happened to me, but we literally were about to land, and then we just pulled up, and it was scary. I hate flying. It was the scariest moment of my life.
Oh, come on!
I hate it.
Flying is great.
I hate it.
Big news out of Frisco right now. Are you guys
Oh
following
God,
along?
is Scott Frost talking?
No, he talks.
No.
He talks tomorrow.
No, today's his day. UCF is today, baby.
Is it today?
Yes.
My bad.
The Pop-Tarts, the 2 Pop-Tarts are going to Dublin, Ireland for the Aer Lingus game between Kansas State and Iowa
Farmageddon?
State. Yes.
Wow.
Can you imagine just think about the content of the Iowa State fan that'll be in a bar like the Temple Bar right there for about 10 hours, and they'll wander onto the street, and there are the two Pop-Tart mascots walking the streets of Dublin.
I hope the mascots aren't there. That's a great drunk snack. You're just walking here, like, just take a grab of his liver, just eat it right then and there.
What if you live in Dublin and this disaster comes into town every year and it just gets worse and worse and worse?
What do you mean disaster?
These Americans come in and they can't handle their liquor.
It's not just Americans, though. It's college football Americans, right? Like, it's a little bit different. It's very Midwest. So a couple of years ago, you get the taste of Nebraska. Oh, whoops, our machines are broken and all the beer is free. And maybe some players and coaches show up at your casinos at various times of the day in the lead up to the game and things like that. All right,
imagine if they did.
Last year it was Florida State, and then this year they're getting the full Farmageddon experience featuring Mr. Pop-Tart. Like, what are we going to do next year at the Aer Lingus Classic?
Well,
it's going to be a disaster.
It's got to be Jordan Hudson. Has to be there. It's got to be North Carolina for sure. And then they got to do like another like in North Carolina versus Iowa. I don't know. North Carolina versus whoever. Make it
versus
random.
Iowa?
I don't know. Make it as random as possible.
I do like the idea of Iowa going there.
Yeah.
Iowa going there would be fun.
Yeah.
Enjoyable.
Well, how about this? So also in Dublin at the end of September, the Vikings and the Steelers play. But it's not in the stadium in which Nebraska and Northwestern played.
Really?
Yeah. I think
What's the other stadium in Dublin? Dublin.
So there's what Aviva was where Nebraska played.
That's where Nebraska played. Yeah.
But then isn't there the stadium where the Celtics play?
Is that Croke Park?
Yes, I believe so.
Wow. All right, must be nice to live in Dublin. You get college football, you get Farmageddon, and you get the Vikings and the Steelers.
Too many stadiums in Dublin.
There you go. Croke Park. Josh is out on venues. Josh hates all venues.
Then he hates the music scene in Omaha then.
Yeah, exactly. That's the original take. He's like, Steelhouse. Who needs it?
How many amphitheaters does one town need? Jesus.
Yeah, you know what? Like Sumter was like, oh my gosh, look at this. We have an outdoor amphitheater. Now it's like forgotten about.
Yeah.
And it's a nice place.
People forget.
They can make as many concert venues as they like.
They will. Music. Don't worry.
Did they ever use that little like concert venue by Ameristar?
It's called Stir Cove.
That's Stir Cove.
Yeah, that's Stir Cove.
Okay. That's all right.
There's upcoming events in.
There is an upcoming event that we're promoting on the station.
I won tickets back before I worked at 1620 The Zone. I won tickets from Michael Severe to Bush at Stir Cove. That was awesome.
Nice.
Bush. What's Bush?
Bush.
I
It's a band.
Gavin Rossdale.
Glycerin.
No, I don't know that.
That's a great song.
Met him on 2 separate occasions.
You met Bush?
Michael Severe?
Gavin Rossdale.
Oh, Gavin Rossdale.
I don't know the other players in Bush.
I saw Kesha at Stir Cove.
I did too.
What?
I was there.
Why was Kesha playing at Stir Cove?
Because everybody plays
Stir
at Stir
Cove
Cove
rocks,
Yeah.
man.
No, I'm not,
Guys,
I'm not pushing back at Stir Cove. I didn't say anything negative about Stir Cove. I didn't know that
You're
Stir
just
Cove
saying
has
that
got
there's
those
stuff in
people.
Chicago that's better.
I
get it.
didn't say a word about Chicago. That was you, okay?
It was 110 degrees out.
So hot.
It was the first time she had played music publicly in like
6
a
years.
year.
She was going through a very difficult
She
time.
cried on stage,
Jeez.
and nobody was wearing any clothes.
No,
That's
no,
right.
no offense to some of these pop artists, but it seems like they're always going through some difficult times.
And she actually had.
You
a
might
want to
look up
yeah.
her difficult time.
She actually had a
say
difficult
that.
time,
Okay, I'm sorry.
but she needed to take a break
difficult
for a
time.
little while.
Who sang, Matt, who sang that song Saturday in the Park?
Billy Joel?
No.
No, try again.
Saturday.
Yeah, who sang that?
Yeah,
Bim fun. I think it was the first. I don't know. People
it's a band called
dancing,
Chicago.
people
Oh, interesting.
turning, a man selling ice cream.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Good song. You just ruined
Kesha
it.
difficult time has been looked up in Google.
Yeah. Were you able to confirm that the time was indeed difficult?
What came back?
Yeah, I'll shut my mouth. I apologize to Kesha and maybe some things that she's gone through. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I say things that I don't really know the situation of which is going on. Typically, that happens with sports, not with this kind of terrible thing that happened. So I'm glad she's better. I'm glad she's doing better.
Thank you for
That was a good apology.
Thank you for apologizing, Matt.
As
We
Castellanos
understand.
hits one to
Yeah.
deep left field.
Who else did I
And
see at Stir
The
Cove?
Reds go up 4-0.
Hey, Dirks Bentley was good. I saw him there.
Whoa, these are names.
yeah.
These are names.
Yeah, I've
I
seen-
got to go to Stir Cove.
It's probably one of our better. It's a top 5 venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year you kind of like, okay, what's the schedule?
So I
Anything
can
interests me?
I could play blackjack and then I can go to Stir Cove.
At Harris,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Darius Rucker usually plays out there. And then one year on stage, he reminded everybody that not every black guy looks like him.
Wow, he did?
Yeah,
What a
because-
great reminder.
Because
What a
the
service.
same weekend, there was somebody impersonating him that was walking around downtown Omaha asking people if they wanted to come to the show or
yeah.
wanted to meet
God.
up afterwards.
Have you?
Okay, now to just quickly defend Omaha. There is a lot of people who look like Darius Rucker in particular. Okay, not just because he's
What does
black.
that mean? Elaborate on
because-
that.
I'm
Elaborate
just saying
on that, Connor
he's
Happer.
just a kind of a guy. He's just kind of a normal looking guy. You know,
Well, he's coming back on July 25th.
I love Darius
Oh.
Rucker. I love Darius Rucker. He's a great guy.
I think
He,
I might go to Weezer.
Whoa, Winona Judd in a few days?
Winona Judd.
Cole
Nice.
Swindell. Oh, that's the one that's being promoted. Cole Swindell's awesome.
Oh man, Bachman Turner Overdrive and Marshall Tucker Band.
PTO.
Here we go.
The
John
Wheeze.
Party. John Party will
Yeah,
be
dude.
here in September.
Yeah, you got to check out. You got
know.
to check out Stir Cove,
I
man.
got to do that. That sounds.
It's very cool.
It looked really cool when I drove over there to play some DraftKings bets, and I drove.
I
by
saw.
it,
I
and
saw.
I was like, oh, that's a venue.
I saw OAR there, and they did this town, and I was looking at the Omaha skyline, and
what a
I just,
moment.
I just had a great appreciation for Omaha.
Did
in
that
moment.
get their largest applause?
Yeah, it was awesome. Everybody just stayed and waited for this town the entire show, and then they left. It was great.
Your wife was like, Connor, why are you crying?
This song really fires me up. That's all.
All
2-day run for Old Dominion.
Old Dominion,
Oh.
that's a country band.
Yeah.
2 days,
She
2
kept
days,
the
2 nights.
hotel key. It's that band, Connor.
I think they got a better chance of winning at Stir Cove than they do in Bloomington. But that's just
Whoa,
me.
nice. Is this true,
Attaboy.
Kenneth? Cypress Hill, Atmosphere, and Lupe Fiasco next month?
Yeah,
Is this
yeah.
true?
That is true.
All true.
Lupe used to be my favorite, and now he's just old, and I think he's retired.
Is Lupe Fiasco the
Wow.
all right round end of the show
Yes.
goes
Yes.
on? Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good song.
That's
Yeah.
see, this is how I identify artists. I know one song and I just hum half the words.
Insane in the Membrane.
Uh,
That's not Lupe.
No,
No.
that's Cypress Hill.
Cypress
They're
Hill.
with,
Yeah.
But you
I-
had the Lupe song,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yes,
I've never
yes,
heard of
yes, yeah.
Insane in the Brain.
no,
Insane. Got no brain.
no. I know.
It was
I
really
know.
good.
I know. B don't kill my vibe. B don't kill my vibe.
That'll be a good
Okay.
show.
I can feel
That'll be a
your
good show
energy
because
from 2 planets
especially
away.
Cypress Hill here is over in Germany. So Germany to Council Bluffs.
Yeah, easy
Wow.
trip.
Yeah.
Direct flights, I heard.
Yeah.
Only if you
Weird that they have direct flights there.
They got to fly into a certain city, right, guys? Do they have to fly into a certain city to get to Council Bluffs? A certain Midwestern city that might be on the lake?
Probably Omaha would be my guess.
Omaha's on the lake.
Yeah, Carter.
Not, guys. Come on,
Whoa.
it's a lake.
It's a great lake.
I'm just talking about. Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
No, I'm saying Carter Lake is a great lake.
Yeah, you ever heard of Prairie Flower Casino?
I love Prairie Flower Casino, and they love me at Prairie Flower Casino.
I
That
bet
makes
I
you
love
they
the
do.
parking lot at the Holiday Inn
Stay-
in Carter Lake, Iowa.
stay there.
Wow, well
Stay
played.
longer, win more. Prairie Flower Casino, baby.
You know what?
People
the more
forget.
people talk
People
about
often forget.
parking at the hotels that they give you a deal, that we're going to ruin it. We need to stop doing that, giving people a tip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do not.
Well, Gary
Do not give away your College World Series secrets ever. That's the
Gary
point.
knows shortcuts on how to get in and get out of the Kansas City Chiefs parking lot as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah, there's some
And-
secret exits down
And
there.
he is refusing to reveal them to people.
No, yeah, you can't say that out loud on the
You
radio.
got to
Are you
guard those
kidding
like
me?
a state secret.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the parking lot for
Well,
3 hours.
I was
I
telling
only want to
Gary,
be in there for an hour.
I've probably been in a actual football parking lot trying to get out with my own car like 3 different times. So I don't really have a ton of experience in terms
Wow.
of doing that.
Well, since Gary can get out so quickly, why doesn't he do Big Red Overreaction?
Great idea.
Hey!
And that way he
thanks for-
doesn't have to divulge his secret exit.
That's right. You take your secret exit, Gary. But in this
Get
case,
to the TikTok house.
it's
Hey.
one of the it's one of the rare times that being a Chiefs fan really pays for you.
Hey,
So congratulations.
Josh, we are
calling it the TikTok
Oh,
house?
oh yeah.
Yes.
Is that going to be
It's
the day?
1620 the house.
The house,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like
We
that.
are doing
Yeah.
TikToks, right?
Are we
That's-
gonna? Is that the day we kick off the 1620 the zone TikTok?
It seems like the logical step.
I feel like we got to go to Instagram first.
Yeah, probably should do that.
You know what?
Maybe a
Screw
dual
Instagram.
debut. I don't know.
You know, people keep telling me that we have an Instagram, and I keep telling Josh Odson that people keep
We
telling me
don't.
we have one, and we don't have one.
Don't.
Just because there is an Instagram page that is at 1620 the zone doesn't mean it's ours.
It was somebody's that worked in the building at one point, but
Yep.
no longer.
They were like, Matt, you have to log into Facebook. I go, can I have the username and password? And they go, well, we don't know that. I'm like, great.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
They used to work here.
Everything was signed up under an email of a person who no longer works
That's
here.
right.
That's right.
That is true. All right. Have a fun time. Everybody that gets to see you in action, you two in action. This is very enjoyable. 12:05 first pitch. Chasers and the Mud Hens.
Yeah, I assume you're coming out to
Yes, sir.
be the official scorer.
Yes,
Excellent.
sir.
Good. Maybe come out and visit the Stormfront team store where you could buy the 4th of July rope hats that
Oh.
everyone's been raving about so much lately. You could do that with us at Werner Park. All right. See you guys later.
All right. Bye.
That is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha, not in Chicago at everlevelconcrete.com.
Screw you.
We'll be back. Start things off from a beautiful day baseball game at Werner Park coming up next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Hodson with you live from Werner Park, home of baseball and popcorn and beer and Harry Potter nights.
Not
and
tonight.
Tacos and shirtless men. Not anymore. They put their shirts on.
Weird. I tweeted that photo out, and they immediately put their shirts on.
They're always listening. We have a 12:05 start today between the Omaha Storm Chasers and the Toledo Mud Hens, the start of a 6-game series and the continuance of a 9-game homestand for the Storm Chasers. Mega old man Rich Hill is pitching today. I am very excited about watching this.
Crafty veteran Rich Hill on the hill.
I didn't say anything about his ability to get dudes out. I mean, he's just super old compared to his contemporaries, especially at this level. So we're excited to watch that coming up in just about 90 minutes. We're going to have a very cool and very normal show today. I am not doing the MC work. So I don't have to just hop up randomly during the show and whatever. We're just going to do a show, and then whatever comes our way, comes our way. Of course, if we need to alter something that happens within the ballpark, we can make something happen.
Absolutely.
I don't know if Josh is going to be singing the 7th inning stretch live on the crossover today.
It went so well last time.
Yeah, he was almost as good as Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy.
Wow. People did not like her rendition, and I'm sure that's all they were booing.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't.
But she got absolutely killed for that. In Chicago. That was a tough watch.
I can't wait for the monologue on the next episode of Call Her Daddy about how people have been keeping her down for years, and that happens every time she goes out in public. But now people are just learning about it.
Or she doesn't care or didn't notice.
Yes.
But she definitely cared and noticed.
It will be one of the two.
You can't get booed at a sporting event by 30,000 people and not care or notice. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Take it from me. The man who got booed off the floor during the most attended ever Creighton women's basketball game for accidentally giving persons money. I don't know why I got booed for this, but that did happen.
They would have booed you if you didn't give them the money.
Exactly. It was in a no-win situation. But you live and you learn. Today,
can't wait to watch that on ESPN Plus next week.
Oh, we can't wait to talk about the end of the Flow Sports era, which we have seen our last Flow Sports broadcast, the very last Flow Sports broadcast of the history of Creighton athletics, at least for the now,
Georgetown
would have been. Yeah, well, no, that wasn't Flow
even
Sports.
Flow Sports.
That was some random crapazoid. It would have been the weekend before that, which would have been the Xavier series. But the Sunday game was on TV, so I think it might have been the John Bishop 3 game. That might have been the very last one.
Wow. What a way to end it.
What a way to end it. That is a great way to go out. I'd have to double check that. But yes, we will talk about the end of the Flow Sports era today as Creighton and the Big East move into some business proceedings with ESPN. Elsewhere today on the show, Allan Bell will join in less than an hour. That's the lineup powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'd love to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today, like Kenneth. Connor Happer Show on Caller Daddy when?
Oh, yeah, I would listen to that.
You would listen to yourself on Caller Daddy?
No, I guess the show. I didn't know the show.
You are on the Connor Happer Show as
I am
far
a
as
part
I'm
of
concerned.
It. Yes.
Okay. We'll get in touch. Our people will get in touch with their people.
Yeah.
And by people, we mean Joey Colbert. He's our producer back in studio.
He's our person.
That's our guy. He is part of the team today and every day at 1620 The Zone. Yeah, elsewhere on the show today, we have some fun college football topics, like who was the worst coach ever,
so Scott Frost, number one,
as debated by CBS Sports.
Ah.
It is Big 12 Media Days. It's going on right now.
Real quick on that.
Yep.
Have you seen the photos and videos coming out of the Star in Frisco?
Yeah.
They're wearing full uniforms.
Yeah, I guess that's probably for picture time.
Okay. That would make sense.
Because when they go to these media days, not only do you do podium press conferences, but you also go off into these rooms with the networks, and they ask you stuff with a tiny microphone, or they take a bunch of pictures.
And then if your skills are declining, but you still want to be a relevant star, you do a bit like be emo, or what else did Jimmy Butler do? I mean,
nice.
Just any superstar
fight people
could
at
do
practice,
that.
things like that. So we will go on throughout the show today. I don't know what time Scott Frost is scheduled to speak, but it is today. What will Scott Frost say that will mildly annoy or bother us today?
You're sitting there saying there's nothing he could say. You're driving your car, your hands are at 10 and 2. You're like, there's nothing that guy could say that would make me feel anything.
Wrong.
He'll say something, and you'll feel something.
Exactly. Also, tomorrow at Big 12 Media Days, Colorado, I think, might be the first Power 5 team of all time to bring 2 quarterbacks to a media days.
That's weird, right?
So Mitch and I were talking about this a little bit this morning after we did our podcast. Is it possible that in order to divert people from thinking that Deion either won't be there or his leash is short or he won't be there for very long, is creating out of thin air a quarterback controversy to distract people from the fact that nobody's really sure about what happens with Deion Sanders going forward? They have Caden Salter, who transferred from Liberty, and they have Julian Lewis, the 5-star.
5-star, yeah. Possible.
Maybe it was in both of their rev share contracts that they had to go to Big 12 Media Days. I have no idea. But I don't know. We'll see what Colorado's up to, of course, tomorrow. Are people really bothered by ads on uniforms? We'll talk about that. We'll ask the question. We talked about the rivalries yesterday, the top rivalries in college football history. As you hear the birds chirping here at Werner Park. There was a separate story that argued that Michigan and Ohio State has not been, because remember the thought at the beginning, it was like, oh, well, now the Michigan-Ohio State game is going to be diminished by the fact that the college football playoff exists.
Sure.
There was an article that came out after the rivalries thing that was arguing that game has not been diminished by the college football playoff. And I would argue that it's, while trying to argue that the game has not been diminished, it actually proved that it has been diminished.
Oh, no.
So, yes, we will talk about that a little bit later on. The Big Ten, the cradle of quarterbacks, ? The future of watching sports, stupid video game rankings. Producer Josh takes a quiz to find out which Harry Potter house he's in.
That might be like the Caitlin Clark thing. We might not get to it.
We might not get to that. And we say goodbye to Flow Sports. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today. We get a text here from Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Boo, minor league baseball at 12 on a Tuesday. What are we doing? We're watching minor league baseball at 12 on a Tuesday. What other time would we watch minor league baseball?
It is the free game of the day on MILB, which I believe is within your MLB TV subscription.
I think we have some well-embedded moles inside the production rooms here at Werner Park. So maybe we could get a cam shot.
Oh yeah,
we could get a camera shot on us during the game, and then people could watch that on their free game of the day, take a screenshot, and send it to Happer's show.
Look at these two idiots.
It sounds like a really good idea to me. I'll even go to the Stormfront team store and buy a cool new rope hat.
Yeah, they are cool.
And show that off on the MILB free game of the day. All right, off and running here on a Tuesday. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson, Joey Colbert back in studio. We're at Werner Park, and we'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, we're at the ballpark. Werner Park, to be exact. Come on out and say hello, catch some day baseball. It is we'll see how it heats up this afternoon, but I don't think it gets much better than this for the middle of July.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, really, really comfortable and reasonable. We are in the shade, though, of course. But Josh Otson, in honor of us being at the ballpark, has alerted me to this, and dare I say, it is like the ultimate guys naming dudes list.
I think it might be.
So the Athletic came out with a MLB all quarter century team, of course, which they did. We talked about, I think, last week. And then we talked about the games of the last 25 years last week. Today, in their series of all quarter century teams, they've come out with a never been an all-star team. This is a list of players who were never all-stars, but were still pretty good players. Mm-hmm. There are some names. They're all fantastic. If you pulled this one, if you pulled any of these names on like a immaculate grid or something like that, people would be really proud of you. Mm-hmm. So we got Cookie Carrasco. We got Octavio Dotel. Jack Flaherty's on the list. Aaron Harang. Kyle Hendricks. Raisel Iglesias, Hiroki Kuroda, Kyle Loesch, Rick Porcello, Anibal Sanchez, Jared Washburn, Benji Molina.
Oh,
yeah, there's some guys. There's some guys on here. Kevin Millar, Adam LaRoche, Rafael Palmeiro.
I'm wagging my finger.
Never an all-star in the 2000s.
Yes.
I would imagine.
He counts.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Yeah. JT Snow, good one. Neil Walker, Rougned Odor. Remember that time he fought Jose Bautista?
He hit that guy that one time.
That was fantastic. Willie Adames, Orlando Cabrera. I think your computer is on volume.
Okay.
Just turn the volume off on it. Like hit one of those guys.
All right.
Yeah, that'll get you there. That's why you hear the echo. Do you hear the echo, right?
No.
Okay, great. I hear it. Eric Chavez, Bill Miller, Pat Burrell, Coco Crisp, Chris Davis with a K, Juan Pierre, Tim Salmon, Kendrys Morales, former Royal great, Travis Hafner. What a list. Now those are some guys, Josh.
Imagine being in the room and saying, guys, we got to make a list. Never been an all-star.
What an odd list.
Yeah.
What an odd list.
Thank you for your service, Athletic.
Josh, I got a question for you.
Okay.
In honor of us being here today, I would assume that we will make our way over to a concession stand at some point. What has caught your attention in the early goings as people have started to populate their concessions posts?
Well, the largest trash bag of popcorn you've ever seen in your life always catches my attention.
Absolutely caught my eye immediately.
The smells of hot dogs and hamburgers has been wafting through. I have noticed that.
I'm telling you what's about to come through. Although I don't see the stand-up today. Maybe it's not up. Usually maybe starts around game time. The Phillies. Oh, we're over right near where
I hate the Phillies.
Not those Phillies.
Oh.
The delicious steak Phillies. I had a Philly for dinner last night, so that might prevent me from actually getting where I need to go.
I had some salmon for dinner last night.
Nice. I had a Philadelphia Philly, and you had a Tim Salmon. That's fantastic. So we're going to start smelling that here in about 5 or 10, and it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem. But maybe Marty Cordero will stop by, although I haven't seen him running around the ballpark.
He's busy. He's trying to find a soccer coach.
He's not responsible for hiring the soccer coach, is he?
He's the president.
I guess, yeah. All right, maybe he's busy. Maybe I'll go knock on his window and see if he's. Hey, did you hire a soccer coach yet? We can get all the, all the sourcing that we need to on that. We'll break your Union Omaha soccer coach news right here on this show, if and when the information.
Maybe it can be
available.
One of the many U.S. men's national team coaches we've fired.
Who wouldn't want that job?
Yeah.
You could coach the U.S. men's national team, get yelled at on Twitter for 6 months, have everyone pretend it was your fault, get fired. And then people have yourself totally redeemed by life because it actually wasn't your fault, and then you end up in great shape.
Get another star on those beautiful Union Omaha kits.
And you can just go be an MLS coach at some point, whatever you want to do in that case. So we'll see if we have a chance to check in with Marty Cordero coming up during the show today. Once again, Josh and I are out here at Werner Park. Yesterday, Josh, was a great day for some. Great day for some.
Not all?
Some who pre-ordered the new NCAA college football video game.
Oh, okay. You were one of those people.
I was one of those people.
Did you get in there?
I got in there.
Okay.
I got in there. I was playing it. It's funny how fast like 3 hours go by when you're 33 years old compared to when you're like 21 years old or like 14 years old. Pretty fast.
Yep.
Felt like it was about 10 minutes. But was able to get in there. So you take a look at Nebraska, and thanks for screenshotting these, Chase Madison of 1011 News in Lincoln. The player rankings for Nebraska are as follows. Nebraska's best player, according to the brand new NCAA or CFB 26 video game, Sierra Wright, Nebraska's best player. That's right. Sierra Wright, the actor, Nebraska's best player, 88 overall. Dane Key, Marcus Watson Trent, Emmett Johnson, and Dylan Raiola are all either 88 or 87 overall. How do you feel about those 5 guys? If I told you that I was making a list of Nebraska's 5 best players, like we're not talking about most impactful players, we're not talking about most, important to success or X factor, or, all the lists are coming out right now. I'm just talking about Nebraska's 5 best players. Did they get the 5 best players right? And will we be saying at the end of the year that they got the 5 best players right? Sierra Wright, Dane Key, Marcus Watson Trent, Emmett Johnson, and Dylan Raiola. I'll tell you what.
It feels like it. Maybe Trent.
I was asked by the podcast company that I do podcasts for to
1620 The Zone.
Not that podcast company. We're a radio company, Josh.
That's right.
I was asked by them to submit names that I thought could potentially gain recognition for being top 100 players in college football. Like maybe they don't end up being on the list at the end of the day, but they could.
Who would be in the conversation?
They could be in the conversation from Nebraska. And I only submitted 2 names. Dane Key, who I think is Nebraska's best player.
I think so.
Which is weird because he hasn't played a down of football at Nebraska, but I think it's probably something that we need to get over a little bit because he's been nothing but a productive receiver in his career, and he's done it at a pretty high level. So I'm cool with saying Dane Key's Nebraska's best player. And the other player I submitted was Dylan Raiola because I do think there's a ceiling in which he reaches that where he's a top 100 or 50 or whatever college football player this year. I don't think he deserves that probably at this point.
But he's got to get there for Nebraska to check the boxes it wants to check.
And then if you fill out the rest of it, I think if you're going off of past production, Marcus Watson Trent, the transfer from Georgia Southern, who has done nothing but tackle people at an extremely high rate in his career, 3 consecutive seasons with triple-digit tackle numbers, Sunbelt Defensive Player of the Year last year. That is the easiest pick for me. He's the Dane Key of the defense, right? He's got production attached to him. Now, he hasn't done it as at high of a level as Key has, but, that's production that translates to me. But you want upside, Sierra Wright is probably your guy. So you see you have 2 guys, 1 on each side of the ball, production, and then 2 guys, 1 on each side of the ball. You have some real upside there. Sierra Wright, Dylan Raiola are the upside guys. Dane Key, Marcus Watson Trent are the production guy. You know what you're getting from them. And then if you want to talk about Emmett Johnson for a second, Emmett, if there's a world, if he's one of Nebraska's best 5 players, I think they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a really good hit for Nebraska if they could get him producing like one of the best 5 or so players in the roster.
Also, it would come around and the coaching staff would ultimately be right. So we could trust them as talent evaluators. I guess if,
Sure.
if you're looking for a second angle.
Well, they're definitely throwing. They're definitely throwing a lot of praise on the shoulders of Emmett Johnson at this point. So yeah, I think there's probably a lot to take away from that idea. Elsewhere, Elijah Pritchett, Marcus Buford, Isaiah Hunter, Deshaun Singleton, Rocco Spindler, Ja'Cory Barney, Dason McCullough, and Henry Lutovsky. Round out your top, I don't know, what is that, 10 or 15? And then, you keep on going further down the list. I did run one with Nebraska. As the kids say, I run one.
Run one? Okay.
I ran one with Nebraska last night.
Can't just say play a game.
The wide receiver, no. The wide receivers are really interesting because they did not have Cortez Mills or Mosey, who and there's some buzz about Mosey getting some running back run in the fall, by the way. But so maybe he's not at the wide receiver position in the first place. But no Cortez Mills, who I feel like is probably Nebraska's like fourth or fifth best receiving option, even coming in as a freshman this year. But like, there's not a lot of receivers beyond the three, which I do think mimics real life, but it was weird to kind of see it.
Limit yourself.
Yeah, it was weird to kind of see it laid out. Like, I think they're on the game, their fourth best receiver was like Tanner Turch. Or so, you ever heard of Tanner Turch before?
I have not. I'm sorry.
He's a freshman coming in. Jeff writes in on the text line.
Hi, Jeff.
Splitting hairs, but 85 agility for Dylon seems way too high. Yeah, he was like over 80 speed. Let me go back. Dylon, 82 speed.
Really?
I look at Dylan Raiola and I think speed.
He had that 40-yard run. Did you forget?
They're really buying into the idea that he lost some weight. He reshaped his body or whatever it was this offseason.
Slim down.
So the football video game, they hear everything.
Huh.
When we return, we'll get caught up on what Big Idea Commissioner Man is saying, because he's giving his State of the Union of the Big 12 right now. After we got through, we're the best and there's room for growth. He's asked questions about the college football playoff. So, are they reversing course? Are they changing course in the Big 12, or are they doubling down? That and more coming up here from Werner Park on the Counter Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back to Werner Park. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Josh, thoughts during the break. Watching a ground crew just do their work on a baseball field is, what was the word you used?
Hypnotic.
Hypnotic. Nice.
Just like watching them.
I think there's some
rake
truth to that.
and do things.
I love watching them rake and do things.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Do you ever want to work on a grounds crew?
I do, but on a day like today, not when it's really hot or really rainy or.
Yeah, there are definitely times where it looks miserable, especially these guys at Werner Park. It's a small crew.
Yeah.
So they have to.
You know, Marty's talked about sometimes I have to jump in and pull tarp.
Well, everybody here, all of Marty's fantastic staff at Werner Park will pull tarp at some point. The call goes out and they're like, "Yep, time to go." I've gone out there and pulled tarp a bunch, not because anybody asked me to, just because I like being part of teams, and I just like to run, and I know what I'm doing because I played junior college baseball and I had to pull many tarp. But yes, I get fed a lot of grounds crew videos on my TikTok.
Ooh,
the guys who work up at Target Field in Minneapolis, they got a good TikTok channel.
Okay,
that they're doing. Yeah, but it's fun to watch. You know, you work with what you got. Maybe you have a lot. Maybe you don't have a lot. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. But you would never know by some of the way these baseball fields look, because they look incredible.
I mean, how much rain did we get last night? The field
looks great. Rain. A lot of rain. Probably a good thing for the grass around here because it's been hot.
Sure needed that rain.
That's what people are saying around here. Doors are open at Werner Park, so come on out and well, you have to buy a ticket to get in. But yeah, come on out and say hello. Big 12 Media Days, door is also open for that. Here is Big Idea Commissioner Man Brett Yormark on the college football playoff model that is being discussed. Many college football playoff models being discussed at the moment. Quote, "I'm doubling down today on 5-11. He says
5-11.
5-11. Not 3-11?
Not 9.
Oh, not 9-11 either, no. He said he expects ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips to do the same. Quote, "I'm confident we'll get to the right place. I'm confident we'll get to 5-11. 5 automatic bids and 11 at-large selections." So for the Big 12, it's kind of interesting. First of all, let me say this. I think 5-11 is my choice. I love 5-11. Not once again, not 9-11, not 3-11, although 3-11 is good too.
In town Saturday.
5-11. 5 automatic bids and 11 at-large selections to get to the college football playoff. And I certainly like it compared to whatever crackpot thing the Big Ten's got going on right now, which is
2-2-1-1-1-1-1.
I believe it is 4-4-2-2-1-1-1-1. But also we've heard the theory been tossed out there by Joe Klatt of the 4-4 2.5.
Oh, that's right.
1-1-1. I think it's beside the point. I don't even know if it all adds up to 16, to be honest with you, but you get the idea. 4 automatic bids for each of the Big Ten and the SEC regardless. And I just think that is antithetical to general worldwide competition, like global competition on the college football playoff scale, just to weight 2 conferences heavier than the other. I don't like that. I understand that's how the world works, and I understand that if you looked at it from a monetary standpoint, that those conferences are heavier than the other two power leagues. But I don't want it to be that way. Now, if you are doing your job as a commissioner and you're trying to fight for the league, the league that you run, does it make sense for the Big 12 to say, yeah, we're going to do the 5-11 model compared to the 2 or 2.5 model where you could guarantee you get 2 or 3 teams in every year, and an 11 model you're only guaranteed 1 spot, your conference champion, and then potentially whoever comes after that, but there's no guarantees. And in fact, it might even be unlikely that a second Big 12 team or a second ACC team would fall within that top 16 and get themselves into the playoff as an at-large candidate.
Well, I'm trying to think about what would be the best scenario if the Big 12 had a banner year. How could they get the most teams in? Like if they had, I don't want to put a number on it, but like if they had like four teams that were really good, like playoff caliber teams, what would be the best system for them to get the most teams in? Wouldn't it? I guess it would be 5-11.
Well,
am I wrong? I could be wrong.
I mean, there's a world where they get more than 3. There's a world where they get more than 2 or more than 3. It seems, like I said, it seems unlikely.
It does,
and it would depend.
That would be years and years down the road.
It might be. It could be now. I don't know, but it wouldn't happen very often. I guess that's the thing, and it would almost solely and completely depend on what the SEC and the Big Ten don't do, right? To get you there. So
most years you're probably looking at the, we only got one in this year scenario.
Just to go back through, looking at Big 12 championship games by year, last year going into the title game, Arizona State was number 15 and Iowa State was number 16.
Okay.
So the winner of that game was getting in and the loser wasn't. That was pretty much the story. 2023, Texas beat number 7 Texas beat number 18 Oklahoma State. Once again, winner was getting in and the loser wasn't.
Okay.
And now I'm thinking about in a 12 or 16 team format in this case. So the 4 team doesn't matter. 2022, TCU was number 3. K-State was number 10. K-State won the game in overtime, and neither of them made the playoff in a 4-team format. Maybe both of them would make it in a 16.
I would think so.
Right? 2021, Okie State was 5. Baylor was 9. Shout out Matt Rule. Maybe both of them make it.
Seems like it.
2020, Iowa State was 8. Oklahoma was 12. Maybe both of them make it. Oklahoma State won the game, so they would be the auto bid in that case. And then Oklahoma beat some 15-ish ranked teams from 2017 to 2019. So it would really depend on just how it sits from not only the Big 12 in its own vacuum, but also what's going on around you. Like, let me go to the college football playoff rankings from last year going into conference championship weekend.
Just seems, I guess it seems very unlikely that they would ever have a 4th team that
I wouldn't
is
think
worthy.
So. I wouldn't think so. So let's go going into conference title weekend for the playoff last year. Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, SMU, Indiana, Boise State, Alabama, Miami, Mississippi, South Carolina, Arizona State, Iowa State. Remember, that's the top 16 teams, but only one of those teams was getting in the playoff, basically no matter what. So if that situation repeated itself, the Big 12 is thinking to itself, well, why didn't we do the thing where we automatically get 2?
Yeah.
If you're trying to maximize your bids going to the college football playoff. 2023, week 14, going into the college football playoff. Michigan, I'm sorry, I need to go 1 week earlier. Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Missouri, Penn State, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, LSU, Louisville, Arizona, Iowa, Notre Dame, Okie State. We've only mentioned 2 Big 12 teams throughout that entire.
Take the 2.
Yeah, at that point. So you want your 2 from the auto 2 standpoint.
Do you want the most teams year in, year out, or do you want to maximize the number of teams you have when you have a good year? I would take the year in, year out, right?
That's it. That's what all the conferences are asking themselves right now. That's what each of the conferences are asking themselves. Because the reason why the SEC backed off this whole, 4-4-2-2 thing is because they feel like they could get more.
Yeah.
They feel like they can, and even in a 4-4-2-2 scenario where there's like 3 at-larges, the SEC could still have 5, but they feel like they could have more. They just don't want to be capped.
Yeah.
The SEC doesn't like caps, which
They
makes
hate caps.
that makes a lot of sense. Poll question: does the SEC hate caps? So everybody is trying to figure out, all right, if this works out this way or if this works out this way, how does it affect us as a league and our ability to get more or less teams into the college football playoff? Do we want to? Is there a year where we'll take our 4 auto bids? Absolutely. There's going to be years where the Big Ten because I think we're going to end up in the 5-11 deal. There are years where the Big Ten's going to throw its arms up in the air and they're going to say, "We were right. We told you guys this all along, and now look at us. The SEC ended up with 2, and the Big Ten ended up with 2, and it was all because of you idiots. We told you." And then there will be years where the Big Ten could have theoretically and should have theoretically got 6 or 7 teams into the college football playoff, and they only actually ended up getting 4 because they were basically capped at 5, or whatever it might be. So I don't know, man. That's why, number one, above all on all this college football playoff stuff, I just hate when they change it every 10 seconds. I think they should just decide on something and then end it.
And see how it plays out over multiple years.
Long time. A long time.
Now, if there's something that, like, okay, we didn't account for this, clearly a disaster. Like some people said, the seating.
I didn't care.
It didn't bother me.
I don't care.
It bothered a lot of people.
Asian Joe writes in on the YouTube.
Hello, Asian Joe.
SEC hates cap, and that's no cap.
No cap.
I ain't capping.
We're so cool.
Yeah, extremely. We know how to speak the language. Ross Dellinger just tweets, Brett Yormark, a.k.a. Big Idea Commissioner Man, and a small group of reporters after his address reemphasizes that the Memorandum of Understanding signed by CFP leaders last year does not necessarily grant sole and exclusive power to the Big Ten and the SEC over a future format. So that's the other thing that I've been wondering about this entire time. What actually needs to happen in order for us to figure out what this next CFP because at the center of the whole thing for the last several weeks has been, what are we going to do with the 26 CFP contract? What's it going to look like? We have to literally either create a new format, go back to the last format, or at the very least, decide what we all want together. Well, how does it actually get passed? I've kind of been wondering about that a little bit as well. Like, what do they need in order to pass it? Like, can the Big 12 and the ACC, if they banded together, put the brakes on this whole thing?
Is it like?
Seems like maybe.
Is it like the government where you need a 2/3 majority?
A super majority.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Big Idea Commissioner Man wants to tell everyone that they do have some power in this scenario, which is really nice for them.
Has to feel good.
Here's another thing that is that people are talking about in college football. This is from over the weekend, mostly. LSU. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Not their baseball team, which just won their second College World Series in the span of 3 years. Congratulations to them.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. But I know everyone was still mad about the NCAA not playing that Kanye West song. So thoughts and prayers go out to them. This is about their football team. There is some reporting from Wilson Alexander of the Advocate in Baton Rouge that LSU wants the NCAA to reverse course on its regulations regarding jersey ads, which Tigers Deputy Athletic Director for Revenue Generation Clayton Harris says would bring the department multiple $1 million a year. LSU has even already identified a partner for such jersey patches, although it declined to reveal the potential sponsorship.
It's Raising Cane's.
It 100% is Raising Cane's. Put it on the list. It's Raising Cane's. The department has also mapped out where each patch would go across every sports uniforms, with most being placed on the jersey's chest in the Tigers' signature purple and gold colorway. So, yeah, it's Raising Cane's.
They're ready to go.
Harris told The Advocate, once again, this is the Big Idea Revenue Generation creator man, quote, "We don't have this as some crazy NASCAR situation," meaning there is not going to be logos and ads all over the place. Josh, I just wanted to get your opinion on this, and I wanted to get other people's opinion on this, because this has been a hot button issue in college sports, or really just sports, for the last probably, 4 or 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Jersey patches on uniforms. I know it's a principle thing, and I know you don't want your jerseys to be, corporatized or bastardized, or I don't know what the proper word is, but just soiled by the presence of companies and businesses and things like that.
Sure.
But it just really has never bothered me. It maybe bothered me a little bit in the lead up to it, because we were really breaking down the wall of the principle of, if we do this, then it's going to be a never ending stream of this happening. But it hasn't got overwhelming for me. It hasn't got overbearing for me. I do not notice them on the baseball uniforms. I do not notice them on the basketball uniforms.
Nope.
I never really thought I would, but I definitely haven't. There's patches all over the place on everything all the time. And I don't think it's gotten to the point where I've watched it and felt like, oh, wow, they're really, really strapped for cash down there. They need money to put, ads on uniforms. I never have felt that way. I just haven't.
There are two instances in which I think it is a little overbearing, and I understand that for their leagues to survive, they kind of have to. It's the WNBA and the soccer leagues, where the corporate sponsorship is larger than the team logo.
Understood.
But I mean, that's a very specific situation. I have not noticed it nor cared in the NBA or Major League Baseball. And if college football wants to do it, great. Go ahead.
I'll tell you a time where I noticed it. And you'll see this today, Josh, here at a minor league baseball game, which we are at. You could hear our PA guy I don't know who's here today, PA wise, by the way, but you'll notice this today. Remember last year during the playoffs when
they have the batting helmets?
The batting helmet, I think it was Strauss.
Yeah.
Just gigantic across the side of the batting helmet. And I was like, ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's probably the line. You found the line.
We're getting really close. We're getting really, really close. So
Yes.
They do that across minor league baseball now. Same company, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where it has gone overboard, but college football has largely been untouched by this so far. So I'm glad it's LSU who's trying to get after the NCAA to say, hey, we want to do this because LSU is a big brand and people will follow what they do. Like, hey, if LSU feels like they can make multiple $1 million off of this, they're asking for money, so we don't have to be shy about asking for money as well. So we feel comfortable doing this. I have no problem with it. Nebraska has random jersey patches all over remember a couple years ago, I think it was 19, it was the 150th year of college football. They wore those 150 patches, but right next to the patch that Nebraska has always had, the Nebraska patch.
And then you had the Adidas patch on the other
and
side.
the Big Ten patch.
And had they have gone to a bowl game, there would have been a fifth patch.
The 150 patch was a little gaudy. It was a little large. Like, I ideally, you want it to seamlessly fit in the kind of colorway, like you white out the logo, you make it transparent and stuff like that.
Remove background, great tool.
Remove background. You could do it on Canva. Josh could show you how.
I can.
It's fantastic. But really, I just generally wanted to say that I don't really have an issue with this. There is a line. It's kind of a it when you see it situation.
To the olds listening, I would feel comfortable in saying, don't worry, I don't see Penn State or Alabama or Notre Dame, maybe Notre Dame, doing this.
Yeah, I mean, you never say never.
Those are Penn State and Alabama specifically are the two that are always like, oh, don't ever touch that uniform.
Because their helmets are blank.
Don't ever touch it.
What if they put what if Penn State put a Wawa on the back of their helmet?
I was trying to think, okay, what businesses are regional to the Happy Valley area?
Is Penn State I think Penn State might still be Sheets territory.
Yeah.
It's not Eastern Pennsylvania enough to be Wawa territory. So maybe Sheets.
Maybe Sheets on one side, Wawa on the other.
Yeah. What are we? I don't know. We're still trying to play to the Philadelphia crowd. We can get a hoagie or something like that. Kenneth writes in.
Hi, Kenneth.
Notre Dame honk, Kenneth. Notre Dame will absolutely not sell patches on their uniforms. Kenneth, I'm just telling you, man, you never know. You think your brand is too clean and above all of these things, you'd be surprised. These athletic departments need money. Or they think they need money.
Yes.
They think because they want to keep spending at the same unreasonable and unsustainable amount that they're spending right now. In order to do that, they need more money. They could spend less, but that is not an option.
You're funny.
That people have chosen to go with.
Tweet from Mitchell on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
Hello, Mitchell.
Could Nebraska start putting a patch on the practice uniforms?
Yeah, I guess I don't know what the value of that would be.
Who sees those, though?
I mean, there are pictures that people scour the internet for.
Sure. What would the patch be? It would be First National Bank of Omaha, right? FNBO. Acres.
Somebody said Dorothy Lynch.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
there's your popular Nebraska companies that would make a lot of sense on it. I just don't know what the value. I'm sure there are people out there who could deem whatever value to these uniforms, but like compared to a game uniform, how many eyes are going to be on you on a game uniform versus how many eyes are going to be on you on a practice uniform? It probably doesn't make a lot. I don't know.
If your logo was front and center on the green practice quarterback uniform. That has some value.
So there's a place where you could go gaudy.
Yeah.
You could make the practice uniform as crazy and ridiculous as you want.
Make that thing look like a NASCAR.
Sure.
Now, it wouldn't get you as much money as a game day jersey, but it would get you some money.
No, maybe you could throw those on there for university corporate sponsor added value.
We love added value, don't we, folks?
Love added value. That's for sure. Hokey Skirt writes in on YouTube.
Hi, Hokey Skirt.
I vote for Connor Happer and John Bishop patches on Creighton uniforms. Just mini fat heads on the jerseys. Make it happen. See you.
I would buy a replica.
Would anyone else? Or would this only be for
you have some family?
4 people?
The 220 boys.
The 220 boys might be interested in a. Hey, look, it's a Peter man.
Peter man.
He's running the camera today.
He was working hard, and he's working hard again.
So there's our guy that we talked to if we want the ISO camera shot on us.
Yeah,
MILB TV.
Yeah.
Peter Man's in charge. Look at him. There he goes. Look at him with all professional holding that big old camera. Peter, make sure you bring that second battery. It might run out.
Oh, yeah.
Might run out of battery.
Look at that big backpack. He's got a battery.
Oh, yeah, he definitely's got a battery in there. Your boy Aaron is another camera operator. He always asks about you, Josh. He says, "How is Josh?"
I say Aaron have worked together many a time.
And I say Josh is fantastic. Travis writes in, speaking of Iowa Western.
Hi, Travis.
They should have bottles of Dorothy Lynch at the post-game press table like the Gatorade bottles.
That would be funny if they just also just never acknowledged that it was there. If everybody could play ball,
take these home with you. I mean, there's a lot of visiting media that loves to come to Nebraska games. I mean, it's viewed as sort of still a destination spot. So I think it'd be a really good media gift. I mean, we got the boxes for the College World Series, and when we go to media days, we get all the beef jerky you could ever want from Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Why not Nebraska give away just a couple bottles of Dorothy Lynch?
Yeah, a little taste of Nebraska pack.
You never know until you
some
try.
Of that 1890 jerky and some Dorothy Lynch in there.
You never know until you try. Because I've heard people come into the state and they've thought, Dorothy Lynch, what is this? What is this? What is this Midwestern drivel? What is this garbage?
What are you rubes putting on your salad?
And we say, whatever. You could try it or not try it. You could do whatever the hell you want with your life, but just know your life is going to be better when you try it. And everyone is like, yeah, you were right.
I need a bottle of this in the drawer of my office.
I'm sorry that I made fun of Midwesterners on this thing. Jeff writes in on the patches.
Hi, Jeff.
I thought I would hate it with the NBA when the NBA did it, but I actually haven't noticed it as much.
Yeah.
Because the NBA teams have found a way to put their colorways on the actual logo, so they make it work that way.
And they change them every year. I don't remember what.
And they're all companies I've never heard of. The Nuggets used to be Western Union, and then it was like something I've never heard of, but it was quite obviously like a tech startup.
Celtics used to be General Electric, and and Joey, what is it now?
I'm not sure. I haven't really paid attention to it.
See,
there you go.
There you go. That's
how
the
much I care
diehardest
about
of the diehard there.
I can't wait till
I do remember when the Clippers were Bumble, and I thought that was
remember
funny.
the Clippers were Bumble. Yeah. What happens when the really rich oil guy who's basically bankrolling all of Texas Tech football gets the patch as the added value, and he just like puts his face on there or something like that? That'd be cool. Hey, it's me. Or like, pistols firing, stuff like that. Chris writes in, poll question, do you care if they put corporate patches on the Husker jerseys? Now, people will say that they care, but they actually don't.
Feels a little sportsy for our poll questions.
I agree. I don't need it. Also, a follow-up, since you mentioned him, the bat signal went out for the Section 220 boys. Hell yeah, baby. Let's go, boy. You got my number, so let me know what you need. Smiley face. Boy. That's from the Section
I got to go watch a
boys.
game with those guys this year. That would be fun.
It's hot up in Section 220.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. Get it rocking up there.
Oh, okay.
I cannot tell you, once again, how much the people appreciated the Upper Bowl Appreciation Day. I still hear from the people. They're like, that was awesome. We got to do that again.
Nobody ever does that.
We have to do that again.
It's always like, hey, here's our corporate dollar sponsor night.
No. We're gonna go say hello to the people in Section 220 and beyond at many Creighton games to come. All right, gates are open here at Werner Park. We're a little more than a half hour away from first pitch. The sights and sounds of baseball are here, and we are covered in shade.
Yes.
Which is the best part out of all of this.
It was in my rider to come out here today.
We'll take a quick break. Allan Bell is going to join us on the other side. We'll be back after this from Werner Park on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Allan Bell, the AB3 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Back at Werner Park, and we're joined now on the Prairie Flyer Casino Zone hotline by Allan Bell of Driving the Line. AB, hello. What's going on?
Hello, kind sir. How are we doing today?
Fantastic. I went during the break, right before you joined the show, bought a huge lemonade and a giant corn dog from a concession stand that was about 15 steps away from me, and I really am reaping the benefits of that decision right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that we were living the dream over there. That is solid work right there. The lemonade is a great touch, too. Great touch.
I'm jealous.
Baseball and lemonade. Well, you ordered a Mountain Dew, Josh.
I know.
I got you Mountain
I didn't know lemonade was an option.
Yeah, Mountain Dew's solid, too, though. Very solid.
Mountain Dew at a baseball game, though? Lemonade.
Yeah, lemonade's better. Yeah, lemonade sets the tone.
All right, Allan, I need a picture of what an Allan Bell 4th of July looked, smelled, sounded, tasted like.
Yeah, so, all right, I'm going to tell you this. I got put on the team of lighting the fireworks this year. All right? Yep. You know what? Usually I'm just hanging back, watching, letting the dads, with their kids and, just getting out of the way, right? Just enjoying it, man, with my buddy. And, well, you know what? Apparently they needed an extra hand this year. So I was in the middle of it, and I got to say, it was fun. You're running around, you're eating half a hot dog, you're lighting things on fire, you're running real quick. You can hear the kids get excited when it goes off. Oh, yeah, I enjoyed it. What about you?
We're talking like a big fireworks show or like an amateur?
Like a cul-de-sac show, right? Like it was like this. Yeah, like it was, basically all the families of the cul-de-sac were out and they all kind of just pitched in together to get like one big thing of fireworks. Cool. That my buddy, that he kind of organizes every year. So yeah, man, it was great. And, I like being a workhorse on it this year, right? Usually I sit back and watch. It was fun being part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You really take ownership over it once, all of a sudden you're put in charge and you're like, hang on, I want this to be really, really good. So good. I spent my 4th of July here at Werner Park, helping entertain 8,000 people or so for a baseball game.
Fantastic job, too. Yeah.
And now I'm back, eating a corn dog. I'm basically, like you said, I'm living the dream. This is as good as it gets.
You really are, man. Did you go mustard? How do you go with the corn dog?
So I would have gone mustard, but I didn't in this case have enough hands to make. So
understandable.
I'm raw dogging it at this point.
Well, you're working too. Yeah, you're working too. So those kinds of messes, man, they could really cause a problem. You made the right call.
Yeah, I just wanted to minimize the potential risk for any sort of messes. So I felt like that was the smart choice. All right. Speaking of minimizing risk, you are the perfect person to talk to as it pertains to minimizing risk because that's something that people in the gambling community talk about all the time. What are we cooking up this week and really over the next couple weeks where we talk about this every year, AB, it's a time where there's not a lot daily going on. This is where the real grinders really get in on the action.
It is, man. It is. And, you got to do your work, right? So, on Major League Baseball, we use weather every day, right? It's sometimes huge in our favor. Sometimes it's not. But I'll tell you, man, and you guys know it out there, at the big ballpark, man, like wind matters, dude. And when you can kind of find spots, where you're going to see some home runs go Chicago, for example, right, over the weekend, tons of them. I think that, if you look out West Coast, man, you're going to see them. You're going to see some late games like the Braves and the A's. All right. Matt Olson revenge tour. All right. You're going to see some nice weather out there, some good hitting conditions. Also, the Mariners and the Yankees. That's going to be a fun series, man. Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. Yeah. Going neck and neck, man. Dropping home runs left and right. So, yeah, look to your two coasts this week. Yeah.
I'll tell you where home runs are not flying, except for randomly last night, Kansas City. The Royals have like an unbelievably – there's some franchise record that they're trending for in terms of home runs at their actual home ballpark this year, which is just absurd. It doesn't feel that crazy for me considering, what they have sort of mostly been recently. But, man, when you're betting on a game that takes place at Kauffman Stadium, you really got to dial in because there's not much. Like, the game can't change in an instant like it can at some of these other ballparks. It's like completely we talked about college baseball all spring, Allan, and how the games could just change in an instant there. You get a guy on and all of a sudden it's completely different. In a place like Kansas City, it's completely the opposite. I wonder how that sort of hits in the from the gambling perspective from that angle.
Yeah. No, you nailed it, man. And using college baseball is the perfect example too. Like, during the National Championship Series, right, Coastal and LSU, all the new folks to betting college baseball that were with us this year, they were getting fired up, for runs, and I was like, calm down. I was like, this is going to be a tough run series, fellas. Like, this is a big boy ballpark, and the wind isn't blowing out. Like, it's tough, man. The Midwest, buddy, is no joke, man. It is hot, it is flat, and sometimes the winds, they do not carry in your favor. You got to be a big, strong horse, That's why somebody like Mickey Mantle, right? Like, you got to be a hoss, dude, to battle that. You do. Like, you just got to be a hoss to battle it, man. Big, strong, and can run. But I'll tell you what, man, Vinny Pasquantino, you're going to bet on a guy to hit a bomb today. That's your dude. He's in a great spot to do it.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Yeah, he's been hitting a little bit lately. That's for sure. He's heated up after a slow start. That is former Omaha Storm Chaser.
How's everybody liking Jack Caglio? How's Cag doing?
Well, it's been very slow. It's been very slow for Cags to start. I mean, he was only here, so we're at the AAA affiliate of the Royals right now. He was only here for 2 weeks, 1 home week, 2 weeks in total, and then they couldn't handle it anymore. So they were like, we have to bring this guy up. He needs to help right now. And I think he's like 5 for 50 something or something like that. But it's been slow for Cags.
Yeah, and it's going to happen that way. Look, Christian Moore, man, same thing with the Angels. Look, when I saw him play at Tennessee, he's one of the best hitters that I've ever seen in my life. And it takes time, dude. Like, I mean, he gets called up, and, I mean, he's hitting ninth, right? And it's a distinguished ninth. Like, it's very known. Like, hey, you're at the bottom here. But he's doing okay. Kind of like Cags, man. Like, it'll come along. And once they get it, they won't drop back down. Like, they'll just continue to get better. But it's hard. Major League Baseball's hard. It is not an easy sport.
No. I want to ask you, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We talked about some NFL teams last week and some storylines and narratives and how we feel about them. I want to just bring up an NFL team or two a week. And then it's basically an NFL team vibe check as we get closer and closer to the season. Today's team is the Chicago Bears. Vibe check on the Chicago Bears, who are coming off of a 5-12 season, which saw all of their division rivals win at least double-digit games last year. But there's some positive buzz, some investment in the Bears' actual roster. How do we feel about where they're headed this year, and what's the expectation for them?
Yeah, vibes are high. All right, new head coach, got Ben Johnson in there. All right, feel like, it's a brand new lease on life, man. Caleb Williams, offense, ready to go. Now, how does the team do? I think that they do get better, man. Like, I'm excited to see what this new offense is going to look like. We see it at Detroit. Can we bring that show on the road? Can we make it our own? And I think that Ben and Caleb are going to have pretty good things going on. Really, can you replace the Vikings, right? Like, taking incremental steps, right? Like, I think that's how you look at, are the Bears going to overtake the Lions? I doubt it. Are the Bears going to overtake the Packers? Probably not. But can you get better, right? Like, that's the whole key to it. So I think they can, and I think the vibes are high, rightfully so. How do you feel?
Okay. All right. I don't know. The vibes are definitely better. I don't know how, I just can't. It's hard to know what that division is really going to look like because so much of what you do in the NFL just depends on what happens with the teams around you. And I don't know. It's just hard to really gain any ground right now. in that division because those teams around them are all in a pretty good spot. Say what you want to say about the Vikings, and what they were or weren't last year, if they were real or not real. But I mean, they always find a way to win more than they lose. It seems, at least recently.
Oh,
so I don't know. I feel it's just hard.
Yeah, that Vikings defense isn't going anywhere. Like that
Right.
defense is for real. I'm with you. Agreed.
All right, AB. We'll let you go. That's a good vibe check on the NFL teams. We'll do it again next week. Enjoy the rest of your lovely July afternoons this week.
Look forward to it, my man. Hey, go Royals. Let's go, man.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you. Allan Bell of Driving the Line. Go Royals. That's almost as good as Roll Jays Go Baseball.
You're hearing it more and more.
All right. So
address the allegations, Connor.
Stibbs is watching.
Hi, Stibbs.
He just got me at a bad time. Okay. He got me at a bad time.
Some might say the perfect time.
I have my collar popped up, so it looks in this picture, so it looks like I don't have a neck. It's all, this is really what happened. I mean, so you can't, you just have to answer for
broke it down frame by frame.
Then you try to have to be, you got to try to be better as you go on, and that's what I'm going to do. But yes, the rumors are true. I am working on a corn dog right now as we talk on the radio. We'll be back with the odd news. Josh has it after this on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right. It's time for the odd news. Josh, now you have to do something normal, by the way. Eating a corn dog, very cool and very normal.
Very normal.
You don't get memed a lot, Josh.
Well,
I'd say that we have to meme you.
Well, some might say that the one time I've been really memed and memed hard would be me puking into a trash can.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was. It was.
That ended up putting you in a good light because you were working while throwing up.
Yeah.
So then it reflects well on you. We need you to do something actually truly embarrassing.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if it happens, we'll do it.
Okay.
Peter I tried to dap Peter up earlier, and he left me hanging. That was pretty embarrassing.
Well, he's very busy.
He is.
He's out on the field right now. He's recording or he's videoing the first pitch today.
Wow. What an honor.
Yeah, we're just a few minutes away from first pitch, which means we're also. What time is first pitch? 12:05?
That's right.
So we need to probably be in a break at like 12:02.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right. National anthem.
Mm-hmm. Respect.
Yeah. We cannot be on. I don't think we want to be on the air.
We do not. Okay. We do not.
All right. You guys can keep having fun at my expense about the corn dog thing. That's fine. Josh, we have the odd news. What is it?
Odd news today. We begin in the United Arab Emirates. I don't know that we've gone there for odd news before.
Not a place we usually go, Josh.
You know those the rumble strips on the interstate?
Yes.
That if you're veering, it'll kind of
yes.
and it'll tell you, hey, you're getting off track here. Get back on the road.
Yes.
They've designed some rumble strips in the UAE to be in the tone of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
Yes.
So it'll be like they spaced the rumble strips apart in such a way that it would play Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
That's awesome.
If you were to run over them, they call it the Street of Music. It's an art project that exists in some countries. UAE said we wanted it to be a part of our country as well.
Wow.
We love spreading art culture here. The combination of music into our normal lives is something we were really looking for.
Wow.
And this is the way they decided to best do it.
I love this. This is an excellent idea. I've seen videos of these before, not in the UAE. Great idea. Now here's a question for you, Josh. Are you a road trip? Like, do you take long drives with your family?
I can. I don't do it often.
Okay. I know you can because I know you're capable of driving a car.
Thank you.
But so one of the things that I do, I should start this way. One of the things that my wife does when we drive places is I drive and she sleeps the entire time.
Wow.
And I'm not mad about it. Don't put it on the internet that I'm mad. I actually like being on kind of the road by myself. I just get to, kind of be quiet. I love silence, notoriously.
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while, if I'm getting bored, every couple hours, she's still conked out. I'm hitting those rumble strips just to pop her up.
Okay.
Just say, hey, wake up. Because it's not me going like this. It's not me tapping her on the shoulder. Say, hey, babe, wake up.
I can brush that off.
I accidentally ran into the rumble strips.
Oopsies.
Need
some help here.
That's a good dad move. If you guys are interested in taking that one, you can.
Singing shoulders, they call them there in the UAE.
I like it.
I want to give a shout out to Joey who helped produce this segment because I left my stories on the printer.
Well,
and he sent me pictures of them. Thanks, Joey.
Yep, Josh. This is how it's supposed to work. You could read stuff off of your phone.
Need my hard copies, Connor?
You don't need your hard copies.
This text is really small.
How do you think
Josh is
I paid?
old-fashioned.
That's right.
Yeah, I know he is. How do you think I paid for your Mountain Dew?
A card of some kind.
That's right.
It's a cashless venue.
Digitally. There's no hard copies of money anymore. Josh, it's all digital.
Whole question, are there hard copies of money anymore?
I'll do that.
Clearwater, Florida is where we go for story number 2. Man is in custody after making a bomb threat while aboard an Allegiant Air flight.
Oh, no.
Leaving from St. Pete Clearwater International Airport.
And going to Grand Island?
No.
Okay.
Allegiant officials said the incident happened shortly after 2 p.m. when a passenger on board became disruptive while the plane was en route to Virginia, Roanoke to be exact. Passenger later identified as 27-year-old Taj Taylor. Now, Josh, what's so odd about a man making a bomb threat?
Yeah, it doesn't seem very odd at all,
Doesn't
Josh.
seem very funny either, does it? Apparently,
was he eating a large corn dog while doing this?
No.
Okay.
That would have really set it off. He apparently sat down, pulled out his laptop, and leaned over to the woman next to him and said, "This laptop's a bomb. Don't tell anybody."
Wow.
Very
not, I mean, kind of a dad joke, but know your place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the old, you can't say bomb in an airport.
You really shouldn't.
Yeah.
You should refrain from doing so. That is still true to this day. You probably shouldn't do that. Like when those when the Costco guys were in the airport and somebody made them say, "How many booms does that get?" And they were like, "Boom, boom, boom." I was like, "Whoa, hang on." Just like, I get it. It's probably okay, but just time and place. Everybody stay at the airport. Just stay in your own lane.
Be cool.
Don't comment on people. People do whatever they want. Just stay in your own lane, and they'll stay in theirs, and everybody will get to their destination safely and soundly.
So yeah, the lady went and told the police on the plane, "Hey, this guy said he's got a bomb. I'm sure he doesn't, but just in case he does, I'd like to tell you." And they returned to the St. Petersburg Clearwater Airport. At that time, the crew had reached their FAA mandated time limits, so everyone had to not only wait for the plane to get ready again, they had to wait for it to get a new crew.
Oh no, I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
So who narked, or did they hear it?
The lady that he told, "I have
they
my
were a
laptop
flight
is a
attendant.
bomb." She went and told somebody, and the onboard air marshal or whatever asked some other people around, "Hey, did you hear this? Did you hear this?" And some other people said, yes, we did hear this.
Okay, now once the point that I made before still stands. Don't do this. Don't joke about it. It's just a time and place thing. Also, you don't know the people who you're talking to, right? So you don't know if they're going to go narc on you. However, did she need to narc? Did she people are nervous about flying. People are nervous about flying. I don't know what the laptop looked like. She probably didn't need to narc. She probably could have just laughed it off and been okay. But, she wouldn't have been able to live with herself if she didn't narc.
Right.
At the same time, she wouldn't have been able to live if it actually was a bomb.
It would have been a fleeting feeling of guilt, right, Connor? Yeah.
Crap, I did this. And then that's it. But nobody would have actually known.
That's right. Gary talked about this in the crossover this morning, and it fascinates me. The Disney World Lost and Found sale.
Yeah. Good one.
You lose something at Disney, they're going to turn around and sell it. Now, they don't care what it is. They're going to sell it, and they're going to sell it for dirt cheap.
Good.
All the proceeds do go to charity, as Gary said.
Love charity.
Most items are available for $2 or $3. That's right. $2 or $3.
I mean, I'm amazed.
That's very low.
But you have to tell me what it is before I'm amazed that it's that low.
Sunglasses, hats, backpacks, $2 or $3. You want a stroller? $20. You want a wagon? $20.
But sunglasses, you can find sunglasses for $3.
Yeah, but I mean, what if they're really nice sunglasses?
What if they're not nice?
True.
And then you're just getting them at market value.
Many fans have braved the lines and packed the parking lots for the sunglasses sales. Bargains on branded shades are abound at the event. A pair of coveted Ray-Bans or Prada glasses sets shoppers back $1 singular dollar.
$1.
$1.
Imagine paying $1 for anything.
You can't get anything for $1 anymore.
You can't get anything for $1 single dollar.
Every 3 months or so, Disney World makes a bulk donation to the Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida. It includes various items that they didn't sell at the garage sale or whatever, the Lost and Found sale.
Yes.
That's what they're calling it.
Give me some of the good stuff, Josh. somebody lose an iPhone? How much can I buy an iPhone?
Oh,
for?
wow. Yeah. I don't have anything like that. Strollers and wagons, they'll sell for very, very cheap, it says here. $20, and it's yours. You've been in the stroller market.
Honestly, Josh, here's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to Vegas, Disney World, the children's Vegas.
Kind of, yeah.
Is Disney World children's Vegas?
Okay.
Put that one up.
I will.
Put that up on the poll question. But if I was going to Disney World and I was bringing my child and she required a stroller, which she would at this point, I would just, and I knew that I could get that, I would just not bring a stroller, pay the $20 to buy the lost and found stroller, and then leave the lost and found stroller and just leave it by. I would pay $20 for basically
a rental.
It's a rental or almost a single-use stroller. Very close to a single-use stroller.
Okay.
I'm sure they probably rent strollers out for $20 at the park anyway.
That's interesting.
Think about that. Now, I don't know when the sale is. It's only on one specific day, so.
But you could time. I mean, if they're doing one, if it's in the news now, they're clearly doing one over the summer months when you would want to rent a stroller.
Yeah, interesting.
$15 a day to rent a stroller at Walt Disney World.
$15 to rent a stroller and $20 to buy a lightly used lost one.
Yeah,
that
is probably nicer.
And you're going to be there for multiple days, right? So
you would think so.
Yeah, fascinating. Fascinating. All right, so we're going to vamp here for a couple minutes because we're about to have a trombone national anthem. It appears.
Nice.
See that? So
wow.
Let's. The umpires are on their way down. They're going to do a meeting. Then they'll come back. And then Rich Hill will make his way out of the... We still probably have like 3 or 4 minutes until we take a break here.
Okay.
Let's read some comments, Josh. That's always a smart thing that people do.
We
right?
love reading the comment section, don't we, folks?
We love reading the comments. Interesting comment in from your wife.
My wife?
Josh is often the one asleep.
That's right.
And I am the one that drives onto the rumble strips to jolt him awake. Interesting. Now, you did not deny this fact. You just didn't volunteer that information when I asked you earlier.
Yeah, you were talking about what a man you were, and you drove everywhere. I didn't want to feel less than.
That was not to prove that point. I just prefer it. I just prefer to drive.
Yeah, I prefer to be chauffeured everywhere.
You do. So, like, when you're driving around town, you and your family are driving around town, your wife drives?
Most of the time, yeah.
Wow. What does that say? What does that say about you, and what does that say about me that I can't have that happen?
I don't care about gender norms.
I don't either.
Sure seems like you do.
No, but but just because I'm doing the thing that is the gender norm doesn't mean I care about it. I just like it. I don't know if it's because of the way it makes me feel. I just prefer to be in control. But that's with all things in life, whether it's dealing with wives or other people. I just like to be in control.
I think you got to look at yourself long and hard in the mirror, Connor.
Josh gets here and he gets the equipment out of the thing, and guess what I start doing? I start putting the cords in the places, and I start pressing the buttons. No, you got to press this.
It was a great help.
I like this there, and I like this there. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, that's just the way I'm wired. Doesn't have anything to do with gender norms.
Well, we're both the same gender.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Stibbs writes in.
Hi, Stibbs.
Quote, I prefer to not let women drive. Happer.
I don't know if that's a direct quote.
That's what it says. Also, another quote from me from earlier from Stibbs. Quote, I love charity, which is definitely something that I said. I did say that. Put it on the internet that I said.
Please put it on the internet. Put it everywhere.
Also, hello, Sharks. Today I'm presenting you with my disposable stroller idea. Now, hang on. That's pretty good.
It is.
Sharks, hello. Let me introduce to you disposable stroller. Disposa stroller.
Disposable.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh.
Single-use strollers. It's almost like stroller Uber.
Oh, hello.
Or like stroller, it's basically a stroller rental car service in that idea. Or the stroller scooters. How about the scooters that you see downtown?
Okay.
You put your thing up to an app and you're like, okay, you could use this stroller for as long as you want. You're paying for it the entire time. It's a low fee.
That's not a bad idea. If I could not have to lug that thing around town and there were like a dozen of them outside of the chuck box.
Well, I got one for you. I got one where we would set up immediately.
Zoo?
Yep.
Yeah.
The zoo.
Wow.
The zoo.
We could
would
make a lot of money.
Scatter the strollers all across the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
You pull out your app when you get there. You plop your kid in the stroller. Use it for as long as you're there. And whenever you want to pull your kid out, leave it. Just leave it.
Yep.
Watch out.
Whoa. I think we might have stumbled upon something here, everyone.
Jason writes in.
Hi, Jason.
Please put Josh on YouTube.
Well, yeah, I don't know
Josh
what's
keeps
happening.
disappearing. He keeps freezing.
Yeah.
All right. The Storm Chasers are taking the mound led by million-year-old Rich Hill today.
That's not true.
Which means we are just a second away from the national anthem. Werner Park, Toledo, and Omaha coming up in just a couple minutes. The Connor Happer Show is halfway home. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Connor Happer, Josh Johnson back with you here at Werner Park for day baseball. We are underway. It is Rich Hill Day at the ballpark, and he just threw a blazing 84-mile-an-hour fastball.
Blew it right by him.
Right by How You Lee. How You Lee.
I think you're right.
You always get worried when I try to pronounce someone who's not from America's name, Josh. I'm a broadcaster. I know what I'm doing, I think. Josh
worked a lot of places where a lot of people would have done an accent after that. You'd be surprised how many times I had to say, "Hey, we probably shouldn't do that anymore."
There was no thought of ever doing an accent. Okay, just it's a name. All right, Josh.
He's a man.
He's a man. You make me have a coughing fit. All right, Kenneth writes in.
Hi, Kenneth.
How was the trombone anthem? They were excellent.
Spectacular.
They were
rendition.
Excellent. Rich Hill just got a strikeout of a person whose name Josh doesn't want me to say.
Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee. Who is also, Kenneth writes in, who is the in-game host when Happer is hosting his own show at the ballpark. Well, it's usually me. I usually do both. But today we were asked before the game, like, hey, do you want, like, what are we going to do? Do you want to do it? And I was like, you know what? No, I just want to do a show today. Forgive me. I don't want to run around and sweat. My step count's already high. Ooh, I'm good.
Okay.
So today it is Katie Scott, who is behind the microphone, who does an excellent job, works in the Omaha Storm Chasers office in the promotions side of things, and they're getting ready to do a game in the middle of the first inning. And Peterman, it's his responsibility to just follow her around all day now.
Good gig.
Instead of following me around all day. Yeah, it's a heck of a lot better.
Upgrade for Peter.
No doubt about it. All right, I see the memes that are going around. Very funny.
Keep them coming.
Very, very funny. Okay, let's go back to talking about rivalries, Josh. Wow. Like, do we have? Is that me? Like, do you hear Nat? Do you hear when the ball hits the catcher's mitt?
I can hear it.
It almost feels like we have we don't. It almost feels like we have a mic back there, but I suppose it's just the pop. Anyway, all right. Rich Hill just walked the guy. He was probably half his age.
I'm sorry, real quick. Coach Prime has tweeted.
Coach Prime has tweeted?
Yes.
Is he going to Big 12 Media Days?
I don't know, but I will read the tweet in full.
All right.
Yes, Lord! Exclamation point. That's the tweet.
Now, why didn't you say that in a different accent or in a different way?
I would never mimic another human.
Okay. Really? Not
Yes.
even when you go,
well, those are people that deserve to be mocked.
Gotcha. All right. Also, I have received a text that says, I'm a broadcaster. I know what I'm doing. The new, I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. It's possible.
We could make a series of commercials that do that. Yes.
Don't worry. I got this. I know what I'm doing.
I'm a broadcaster.
All right, so Michigan-Ohio State, best rivalry, as ranked by this athletic list yesterday.
That's right.
Then there was a follow-up story from Austin Meek, Cameron Teague Robinson. I think we've had Austin on the show before. I've definitely had him on a show before. Maybe it was a different show that I was doing. He writes, Michigan-Ohio State diminished? No. It's college football's number one rivalry is as bitter as ever. All right, so it goes through all the things and all the things that have been on the line. Michigan and Ohio State have been playing each other, recently, where there's been a lot on the line. Not every year, everything's on the line, but between these teams and the way that they dislike each other, it seems like that sometimes. I'll read you an excerpt. On a summer day in Ann Arbor, you could walk past Michigan Stadium and see the words, "What are you doing to beat Ohio State today?" displayed on the video board. Michigan has a sign prohibiting visitors from wearing red at Schembechler Hall. An Ohio State fan spend the week leading up to the game crossing out the letter M on campus signage and even parts of town surrounding the campus. The two cities even go back and forth with jabs on billboards across town. Last November, hours before the game in Columbus, an electronic sign over the Columbus highways alluded to the Connor Stallion saga by saying, quote, "A signal you can't steal, your turn signal." Pretty good. Tyvis Powell, a safety who played at Ohio State from 2013 to 2015, said, quote, people still look at the game as life or death. It has softened a little bit, but the bragging rights mean a lot. Even last year's team, you see the rings, and if you go look under all those social media posts, you see Michigan fans saying, but where are their gold pants at? You don't want to deal with that. So the thought going into this college football playoff era, and especially the expanded college football playoff era, was it will take meaning away from the regular season games. And especially in a case like Michigan and Ohio State, where those two teams likely both, on a year-to-year basis, have more aspirations than just beating each other. Did the ump just catch that?
He did.
What a great play.
Off the screen,
How'd
right back
get
to
runs?
the home. 2-run dong.
I missed a whole dong while I was saying.
Yeah, Jace Young.
Dang. Jace Young? Jung?
Correct.
Whoa. I didn't know he was here.
He's a mud hen.
Very cool. Man, hitting home runs off Rich Hill. We saw Jace Young play some baseball in the College World Series. Anyway, so this was the playoff was supposed to diminish the meaning of regular season games because they matter less, because the playoff exists, and it's very possible that both teams will make the playoff, even if they lose at the end of the season. Now, let me say this. Oh, who's that? Oh, we got Drew Waters back there. Nice catch on the run.
Middle one.
It is not taken away from the game itself, because the game, that game in particular, is so meaningful every year because almost 100% of the time, one of the teams is going to go to the college football playoff. So the other team is going to want to beat that team and spoil their season. But the problem is that if you're in a situation like you were last year and Ohio State loses to Michigan, their season is basically over after that. It would have been basically over after that. Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If Ohio State, if the playoff would have been non-existent or 4 teams, and Ohio State lost to Michigan last year at the end of the season with everything on the line, their season would have been over. And I dare to say Ryan Day would have gotten fired.
Yep.
There would have been all of these different changes that happened at Ohio State in the offseason. And instead what happened was they lost the game and they won the national championship.
Okay.
So this goes to show you that there's not that much difference between that and that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could argue that the motivation that Ohio State got, and they were quoted in some Ohio State players were quoted in this article as saying, yeah, it gave us the kick in the butt that we needed in order to get to where we wanted to go. So you could argue that the game has an effect as far as that is concerned. But I just, forgive me for going old man take again on this show. I'm going to do it for the 100th day in a row.
You're very old.
Like I this is what I do. But I love that about college football, that your season could mean really nothing. You're 3-8 going into a last game of the year situation, and you just so happen to be the team on the 11-0 team schedule, and you get a chance to blow the whole playoff up, even though yours or blow the whole BCS or whatever it is up, even though your season is meaningless, and even if you win the game, you don't get anything out of it except for the satisfaction of beating that team and screwing that whole thing up. That is a world that does not exist anymore. I love that. I want that to be the case again. Obviously, that ship is completely sailed. But I would argue in this case that it, by way of making the game, more important because both teams are more likely to have something on the line because they're more likely to be playoff teams, you've actually made it the game itself. Its meaning has been diminished in this sort of roundabout way kind of deal as well. Like I want that to mean as much as it could possibly mean. And in order for it to mean more, in my opinion, I want there to be stakes attached to it. And the stake is your life. That's the highest stake.
Yeah.
I mean, am I right or wrong? He would have got fired if
he absolutely
he would have got fired like the day after the
If
game.
he lost that game and it cost them the playoff,
Yes.
yes, it absolutely would have gotten him fired.
He would have got fired.
So
he almost got fired anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think you're right, but it does still feel like one of the most meaningful regular season games we have in the sport.
It is the most meaningful regular season. Like, I don't have – yeah. No, I think it is the most meaningful game that we have in regular season in college football still. But it's just less meaningful than it was before.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It is. It's weird where it is less meaningful, but it is still the most important.
Yeah.
Like,
I want it, but I want more.
The whole scale.
Yeah, the whole scale came down.
You want lives on the line.
Well, I do. I like, the more and more I think about this, I just I want I don't know what my ideal playoff format is, Josh. I have yet to decide on that over the years. I always thought that when they started the playoff, they were going to start at 8, and we were just going to stay at 8 forever and ever. But we started at 4, and then we grew to 12, and now we're growing to 16. And honestly, chances are we're going to end up going past that at some point as well. And it's just going to continue to diminish these regular season games in favor of creating more fun playoff games that obviously have a lot on the line as well. But I think there's this uniqueness about college football in that your schedule is kind of random and you kind of get what you get.
Yeah.
Especially in conference play. And by the nature of just what you ended up with, as told by your league, you get screwed because you played the wrong team on the wrong day, and your season just ends.
Yeah.
There's no buffer room. I like stakes. I like when there's no buffer room. So I don't know what the right way to, there's no way to get that back because we're not coming down on number of teams in the playoff. And that argument pretty much just ends.
Now, if you grow it too much more, you're running the risk of, boy, why didn't anyone tune in to Western Michigan versus Ohio State in the first round of the playoffs? Oh, because it was 56-7,
yes.
and nobody cared about the matchup to begin with.
Oh, they already played each other in the preseason or in week 1, and it was 86-0.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fix it. You don't. I think the ship has sailed, but doesn't mean I can't complain about
12's good. 16 is okay. It'll probably work.
It'll work.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll all work.
Yeah, well,
because people
will watch.
Of course, people will watch, and they will talk about the playoff. They will say, "Look at the playoff."
It has a social currency.
It absolutely does, and they'll say, "Wow, this playoff is really good," without understanding or thinking about the impact that the playoff has on the rest of every single game throughout the season or the sport. They'll say, "You guys wanted a good playoff. We made you a good playoff. What are you complaining about?" And I'm saying, I want week 2 to be more important.
Right. Somebody will eventually come up and say the thing out loud. Hey, what means more to you? A playoff game against 2 random teams. It could literally be any 2 teams, or Kansas-Toledo in week 2. You don't care about Kansas-Toledo. You want a playoff game, don't you?
Exactly. And then they'll rage bait me.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Of course.
Given those 2 options.
Yeah, I'd love a great playoff game. We got great playoff games last year in games that we didn't think we were going to get great playoff games in. But I want every game to be the one time where the Walendas walk the tightrope over the canyon.
Take a drink. He referenced the Walendas.
Yes, I did. I did it again.
I love when you do it, though.
All right, we will come back. We're live at Werner Park. It's 2-0 Mud Hens as Rich Hill is back out for his second inning of work. Rich Hill just throwing 86 and doing his thing, man.
Friend of Matt McMaster,
I think.
Golfing buddy of Matt McMaster.
Although we should really ask him about the details of that long, extended conversation they had at the College World Series, because I want to hear it from someone else.
You think we can go into the clubhouse after the game and just
I'll
pepper him with some questions?
I'm here all week. I'm here tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I'll grab him tomorrow.
Not on his pitching day.
I'll say, hey, you met my friend Matt, what tell me about it a little bit. I'll grab them tomorrow or something like that. I'll have a report for you guys on Thursday.
Love that.
All right, we're back. MLB reaction, overreaction from the ballpark on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back to the ballpark. One of the things that we always watch for at baseball games is the variety of different jerseys that you see amongst the patrons. So in my sight right now, this is just not even straining, just in front of me, basically, I see 3 jerseys Bo Jackson Royals.
Nice.
Good jersey, a classic. A Tarek Skubal Tigers jersey.
That's my guy.
Makes sense. The AAA Tigers are playing right now, and they're leading 4-0, by the way. 2 home runs off Rich Hill. And a Red Sox Tristan Casas jersey right in front of me, which is kind of exciting and something you don't see very much.
No, you do not.
No. It's very different. But wear your different jerseys out to the ballpark, and you never know. Hey, there's a guy wearing a Cardinals jersey right there. Wonder who's on the back of that. Wonder if it's like, that kid doesn't know about Pujols. That kid's like, no, that kid, he might be like 20 or something.
I don't
like
see
that.
a number on the front though.
Would there be a number on the front?
Do they have numbers? I don't know.
There's no name on the back.
Wow.
Okay. That kid had an idea that we were talking about him, but he couldn't confirm it, so he just kept walking. I took off my headphones during the break. We are kind of loud. We're probably like the loudest people here, to be honest with you.
We bring an energy to the
ballpark. That's right. We're broadcasters.
We know what we're doing.
That's what we do. I think somebody's behind us right now taking a picture.
Oh.
I can't tell if they're taking a picture of the baseball game or, I think probably just the baseball game.
Work on my posture.
Enjoying Werner Park. All right, MLB reaction, overreaction. Josh, many topics from the writers. I wonder what they're wondering about this week.
These goober writers faxed me today's reaction, overreaction.
Yeah, I was going to say, how are you getting this?
Who has a fax machine, writers? Get with the times.
Well, you're the one who likes everything a hard copy, so I think they're just trying to
copy.
They're just trying to appease you, buddy.
Well, they failed spectacularly.
What are they saying?
We got the reactions. Take number 1: Mike Trout just sucks now.
So this is a hard one.
Feels
Josh.
harsh.
The writers they want to go a little bit over the top.
Yeah, I want to be edgy.
You want to be a little bit edgy. So let's evaluate this. The theory is Mike Trout sucks. So Mike Trout from 2012 started like this. Second in the MVP, led baseball in WAR. Second in the MVP, led baseball in WAR. MVP led baseball in WAR in 14. Second in the MVP, led baseball in WAR in 15. MVP led baseball in WAR in 16. Fourth in the MVP the next year. Second in the MVP the next year. Won the MVP in 2019. Fifth in the MVP in 2020 in the shortened season. Since then, starting in 2021, played in 36 games, 119 games, 82 games, 29 games last year, and now he has moved into a different stage of his career. So very clearly, 2 different stages have emerged for Mike Trout. Incredible, stage 1. Injured, stage 2. And I believe we're now moving into stage 3, which is just healthy but mid. Mike Trout is been generally healthy this year, although he has had a stint on the injured list. Played in 64 games, hitting .233. He's just a 14 home runs, 33 RBI. Like there's nothing that a replacement player could give you that.
His WAR this year is .6.
He's worth a half a win, and we're more than halfway through the season. He's on pace to be a 1 or 2 win player this year.
Wow.
Is this just Mike Trout now?
I mean, yeah,
or
probably.
Are we still giving him grace for the health stuff?
Right now it is almost the exact arc of Ken Griffey Jr.
Ooh, interesting.
Where he hung around for years after the injuries, and
dude, Rich Hill,
you'd hardly know.
Pounded right now.
Oh no!
Rich Hill just gave up another home run, turned to the dugout, and started. He's shouting now. He's mad about something. It's 6-0. He's still looking over his dugout. I think maybe
he would like to go home now.
I think he maybe didn't like the pitch call.
Oh, okay.
That'd be my guess.
That would garner that reaction.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. All right. Mike Trout. Back to Mike Trout. It's so crazy. I mean, everyone was sure that this is a Hall of Famer, and they would go as far to say, and I would agree, like he's already had a Hall of Fame career.
Yes.
Right? He's a 300 career, 296 career hitter. He's hit nearly 400 home runs. He's driven in nearly 1,000. He's got 1,700 career hits. He's not far off being a Hall of Famer right now. He's 33 years old. The production has slowed down rapidly. Rich Hill just gave up another hit. And I don't know if he doesn't start producing like, at half the speed he was producing in his late 20s. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know what we're looking at here.
Can he find a middle ground between this and what he was?
I wish. So
he's probably got no protection in the lineup. I don't know the Angels lineup offhand.
What happens usually with speed guys? I mean, because Trout was a true. I don't know if he was a true 5-tool player. Like he didn't. That one's coming right on top of us. He didn't have a great arm, but he was pretty close to a 5-tool player. Speed, hit for average, hit for power, defense, throwing. He had it all. And usually what happens to those players later in their career is they just skew more toward the power tool.
Right.
Because they're good hitters, but the rest of their body slows down. Trout he's not skewed that way, and maybe we still have to give him a chance to get healthy, but it's clear that speed and athletic part of it, Rich Hill just gave up another hit, that athletic component to his game
good bit
was like the most important thing that he brought to the table. That part of his career might be over, mm-hmm. which might mean his career as we know, unless he figures out something different.
He's got no tool that he's leaning on right now,
right.
It seems like.
And you could still say that he might, just be injured, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky right now. So he might just suck now. He might just suck. I'm sorry. I'm not don't put it on the internet that I'm agreeing with Jimmy Allen.
It still hits the ear very oddly.
I know. I get it.
Ump did not catch that one. Take number 2. On the other side, 37-year-old Jacob deGrom is back.
Have you seen what Jacob deGrom has been cooking this year?
I have.
Jacob deGrom. This is truly amazing. So, this guy kind of came out of nowhere. Late bloomer, right? I'm pretty sure I think he went to college at, another hit. I think he went to college at Stetson, I believe. Yes, he went to Stetson. Came out of nowhere and burst onto the scene, Rookie of the Year 2014. And every year after that, through really the end of his time with the Mets, he's a Cy Young caliber type of pitcher. There's some injury stuff in there. He goes back-to-back Cy Youngs in 2018 and 2019. I'm thinking like this guy is having an incredible 6-7 year run here. And then he gets hurt. And then he gets hurt again, and he gets hurt again. He's battled injuries really since he left the Mets. And he is now bounced back. He is 9-2 with a 2.29 ERA. He is now officially, and we're in July, mind you, thrown over 100 innings for the first time since 2019.
All of it, you could pick any stat at random for Jacob deGrom, and it's his best since pre-COVID.
You just don't see this.
No.
And he's 37. He's not throwing 100 anymore. He's throwing like 95 to 97, but he's making it work. It's shout out to Jacob deGrom because he's cooking right now.
Yeah,
he's back.
I think you said that you don't see this.
Yeah. No.
And he's shoving.
He's shoving right now.
He's figured it out.
It would be nuts for his age if he gets to 200 innings this year. I don't think he's probably going to do that, but it would be nuts if he, at his age and what he's been through the last 5 years, got to 200 innings. 200 innings is still an incredible mark for a pitcher. Maybe even more so now.
Knock on wood.
By the way, I've received a text from a ball watcher. About Mike Trout. Slashing 282, 430, 427. Mike Trout, since he came off the IL at the end of May, is not sucking.
Ooh.
He's been better than Witt, Vladdy, Pete Armstrong, Lindor,
Okay.
etc.
So maybe we're looking at the whole, and we need to look at.
Well, the whole hasn't been very good this year. But once again, I leave open the possibility that he was hurt. That he was hurt, he was bad, then he went on the IL, and then he came back, and now, maybe he's once again in a different portion of his career. Maybe he doesn't suck, though. All right, I can amend that. Thank you, Ball Watcher.
Well, the writers would need to amend it officially.
El Scorcho, by the way, writes in, I think
El
it might
Scorcho.
be easier for you to tell us when Rich Hill actually does get someone out.
Well, pitch away.
We'll let you know when that happens. He's got former Chaser Brewer Hicklin at the plate right now.
Take number 3. Framing pitches is more important than being able to throw out runners and block pitches.
Okay, this is a topic that we have to be very quiet about because people in the baseball community are really riled up about
They
this.
want you to have that cannon.
They are. I think it's a conversation. Which Rich Hill did not get someone out.
He did not give up a hit, though.
He did not give up a hit. He just walked a run in 7-0. This is not good. We also got a tweet from Brandon. Sounds like Rich Hill has hit stage 4 of his career. He needs to retire immediately. Actually, Brandon, Rich Hill's been really good here in Omaha. It's just not really going well today.
Tigers are good. Organization.
These are kind of the Tigers, yes. All right. There's a discussion to be had about this. Framing pitches. How much value do you gain by stealing strikes for your pitcher? How much more comfortable does that make your pitcher feel that you're able to get an extra strike or two or make it feel better, pop better, whatever it might be, compared to the confidence that your pitcher gets from when he feels like he can throw any pitch at any count and it's going to get blocked, or that the catcher could pop up out of his stance and throw out runners. This is a raging topic in baseball because old school catchers will look at the new school catchers who do nothing but sit on their knee the entire game, and they'll say, yeah, good luck throwing anybody out and blocking any pitches while you're just sitting there on your knee. And they'll say, well, it's a skill that I have. I can steal strikes. Rich Hill got somebody out, by the way.
That's right.
Congratulations to Rich. It's 7-0. We'll head to the bottom of the second here in Omaha. But Caden Bodine, Coastal Carolina's catcher.
Yeah.
There's a big topic of discussion around him.
Earned himself some money.
One of the best pitch framers in the country. But it's silly. It really is silly. Now, it's also kind of contextual, right? It's also you can't exactly put numbers to it because a lot of it is based on how it makes people around you feel, and then the data added to the data of how many strikes you're stealing compared to how many balls you're not blocking, or how many balls you are blocking, or how many people you're not throwing out, or how many people you are throwing out. But no doubt about it, catchers these days are showcasing the fact that they can frame pitches at a high rate compared to being able to throw guys out at a high rate, which is a clear change.
Let me ask you. I don't know the answer to this question. I don't know if you know the answer to this question. Can you beat the ABS system a little bit, but with a good frame job?
No.
Okay.
No. It actually doesn't matter.
Okay.
No. No, I don't think so.
So I mean, that's coming eventually.
Well,
Major League Baseball.
I don't know. I think we could go into challenge.
Okay.
We could go to challenge, which, still being able to steal strikes is important. You just have to put your money where your mouth is in challenge. We do challenge here at the AAA level. Pitch framing, tap on the top of the head.
Don't do that in front of an umpire right now. My goodness.
Yeah. I mean,
they're a sensitive lot.
Since I'm old as hell and old school, I tend to lean toward, I want my catcher to be able to,
it's a more exciting play.
Also,
gun a guy down.
I would imagine. So Caden Bodine is a great example of this. Caden Bodine also was one of the best hitters in the country. Why do you think he was able to hit at that rate? Yeah, he's really talented. He's going to be a top, first round pick in the MLB draft coming up this week. but probably because he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his legs because he's not sitting in a crouch all day long. He's sitting on his knee, right?
Okay.
So maybe I do think we've seen this resurgence of catchers being able to hit in Major League Baseball. I would assume that those two are related, at least in some roundabout way. There's a lot to it. There is a lot to it.
It's fascinating.
It is a discussion that I don't think we don't have a bottom line answer to. But thank you for bringing it up, writers. I appreciate it.
Good job, writers. Put it down that I said that. Take number 4. This will be the greatest year for shutouts in MLB history.
This makes me feel nice because the Royals love getting shut out.
Getting shut out.
Getting shut out. And it's not just like complete game shutouts. It's just scoring 0 runs. Anytime a team scores 0 runs, it's a shutout. So this is from a story in The Athletic on first half takeaways from the season. We're over 90 games through at this point. As recently as 2019, there were 268 team shutouts not thrown across baseball over a full season. So in 2019, there were 268 shutouts the entire year. It was the season that featured the highest strikeout total in history. But this year, the sport is on pace for about 100 more shutouts than we saw in that season.
Wow.
At this pace, we'll see 365 shutouts, the most in a full season in the history of baseball. So the immediate thing that the olds point to is, well, this is what happens when you do the 3 true outcomes thing and nobody can hit and nobody really wants to hit. I think there's an element of truth to that. But I think what baseball people will try to tell you is that it's never been harder to hit, and it's never been – I mean, pitchers are just so good. They're just so good.
This is true.
So to squeeze across one run by virtue of 2 or 3 hits consecutively or 2 or 3 base runners consecutively, it's a really tough ask because these guys are freaking nasty. So I think that's kind of what people are pointing to, but it's an insane number.
That's what's plaguing our baseball teams.
The pitchers.
Yeah.
Yes. The pitchers are too good.
So many good pitchers.
Now the pitchers that seem to face the Kansas City Royals seem to be better than all of the pitchers. I can't explain that
one. Take number 5.
Yeah, this is our last one.
Paul Skeens can win the Cy Young while only winning 7 to 10 games. Boy, those don't seem to go together, Connor.
But
do you have some historical data?
Yes.
Okay.
Corbin Burns won the Cy Young, winning 11 games in 2021.
2021, okay.
2020 doesn't count.
Never does.
Jacob deGrom won the Cy Young in 2019 by winning 11 games. Jacob deGrom won the NL Cy Young in 2018 while winning 10 games.
Whoa.
And then
1989, Mark Davis won the Cy Young with a record of 4-3, 44 saves.
Well,
there
yeah,
it is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Eric Gagne, I think, won the Cy Young in the early 2000s as a closer as well.
Sorry, I spoke before I read the whole line.
King Felix, 13 wins in 2010.
Okay.
Was the American League Cy Young winner through about 250 innings that year. The answer to this question is unequivocally yes. Would it look weird? Maybe. But Paul Skeens is currently, I believe, 4-7 with a sub-2 ERA, which is absolutely absurd.
He's got that aura going for him, right? Where he's the brand, right? He's the big brand.
Well, I mean, he is the best pitcher in baseball, but that usually translates to being better than 4-7.
Yes.
If you have a 1.94 ERA, like everything checks out except for the wins. He has the most starts. He threw a complete game shutout. He's got over 100 innings so far this year. His ERA plus is twice as good as everydayers. 220 is his ERA plus. Like he is every bit as good as he was last year and more this year. He should win the Cy Young. He's the best pitcher in baseball, but he might not win 10 games. What if he goes 7-14 and wins the Cy Young?
I mean, Shohei played on some pretty bad teams, and he never won the Cy Young.
No, I mean, these individual awards, they don't have to go to players on good teams. There's historical precedent for them to not to. But once again, we're talking about a pitcher who everyone's deeming to be the best pitcher in baseball, but it might turn out at the end of the year where he only has like 7, 8, or 9 wins. And if he has 10, nobody's going to have any problem.
Right. He's quickly becoming the new Tungsten Arm O'Doyle.
He really is. He definitely is the application to that tweet these days.
He is.
With the decline of Mike Trout.
Has anyone rewritten that tweet with his name in it?
No.
So that it could be shared?
Good question. Yeah, we need
across
to send
the internet every time,
Stibs?
every fifth day.
You want some retweets, Stibs? There you go. There's
you
your
go.
new idea for retweets.
Mm-hmm. You love retweets, don't you, Stibs?
Okay, thank you, Riders. Nice job.
Pretty good batch.
Nice job by you. We'll take a quick break. We're in the bottom of the second, moving at a little bit of a slower pace this afternoon.
One team has 7.
One team has Rich Hill. At least today, anyway. All right, we'll be back around at the hour. Coming up on 1620 The Zone. Our boy Rich Hill, our Matt McMaster's boy Rich Hill, still getting after it here in the top of the third. He has now thrown 73 pitches.
Oof.
And he has got 6 outs, and he yet again did not get someone out. He has given up his 9th hit, and it's 7-0. Mud Hens.
Might want to do something about that.
Yeah, I need your analysis on this one. What do we think?
Well, first of all, if you're Matt McMaster, you have to completely dissociate yourself. I think, like, legally, Rich has asked you to dissociate yourself. But if you're
if you are Rich Hill himself, what do you do?
I mean, you maybe yell at the dugout some more and be like, hey, Jersh.
What if you're Mike Dershally?
I go get him.
Probably. Might be time. Or maybe Rich says, you know what? I'm throwing my 90 pitches today, no matter what.
Put it on me, Skip.
You're going to have to pry this ball from my cold, dead hands.
It's the first day of a 6-game homestand. We can't blow through pitchers today.
Yep. That's true. I mean, that is absolutely true. You don't want to set your bullpen up for that big of a grind of a week, but it does look like we are headed in that direction for the Omaha Storm Chasers. If you care about what's going on in the Omaha Storm Chasers bullpen these days.
You should.
You should. Josh?
Connor?
That is the sound of Sports Center's top 10 plays.
It is.
Not particularly ESPN, although Sports Center is an ESPN property.
Last time I checked.
So speaking of ESPN, get ready to learn Big East. ESPN, the conference and the network have announced a new 6-year digital media rights agreement, adding hundreds of live Big East events to ESPN's robust college sports portfolio. And we do mean robust.
Robust.
Oh, it is robust. It is rotund, Josh.
It is.
And Rich Hill, since I've said that sentence, has now gotten 2 people out.
Apologize to Rich Hill.
A minimum of 75 women's basketball games and 200 Olympic sporting events will stream on ESPN Plus annually, beginning with this upcoming season. The deal
Olympic sports
will also include a minimum of 25 non-conference games for Big East men's basketball. I can imagine almost none of those will be Creighton games.
Fox tends to hang on to those.
I can't really remember any flow. Matt DeMarinis, has Creighton basketball played a Flow Sports basketball game?
It would have to be that, wouldn't it?
I don't think they ever did. I think they were always picked up by Fox FS1 or what? Even the UTRGVs of the world.
That was on FS1.
Yeah, right. So no, those games are getting picked up. Maybe you could see a DePaul on an ESPN Plus, something like that. But they'll send broadcasters and they'll do the whole thing. But to put it in, if you're a Creighton sports fan, to put it in terms that make it sound good, this takes the place of Flow Sports. So all of Creighton's broadcasts that were not picked up for regular television over the past several years, you've had to subscribe to a service called Flow Sports. It costed a lot of money. A lot of money. And the production value varied depending on school.
That's very kind of you.
That is one thing that Creighton has always done well compared to its counterparts in the league. They have excellent facilities, obviously, and they want their broadcast to be top notch, and they are. So I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like for Creighton, aka who the voices on these broadcasts of these sports will be. I know what some of the conversations are shaped like right now. Obviously, we have some radio stuff that we're going to have, and a lot of times, especially for like women's basketball or baseball in the past, we have simulcasted those broadcasts.
That's right.
On the television. So the television and the radio broadcasts are the exact same thing. This creates a variety of different format issues. It sounds a little bit clunky at times. They know that.
Tell me how to air the soccer game. It's important.
It's hard. It's difficult. But I know one of the options is to potentially have a television broadcast and a radio broadcast, which would be really, really cool. And obviously, this is all doable because this is accessible to people.
Yes.
This is accessible to people. And people around here really like there's diehards of every single Creighton sport that's out there. So, it's awesome that this stuff is like I was on Flow Sports more than I watched Flow Sports.
That's what I was going to say. Are you going to be pinging it on ESPN Plus? Ping.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the shape of it is. I would imagine that I end up on an ESPN broadcast at some point. Yes.
I don't think they're flying in somebody for St. John's Creighton baseball.
No, they better not. Look, Josh has a fan.
Yes. Hi, how are you? Good. I'm on the radio right now. Hi. You doing good? Okay, good.
Josh. Yeah.
It is very weird. I admit.
It is weird.
Good to see you.
Way to go, Josh. Excellent.
I'm like Gary Sharp.
People, they come by and people just, you're very approachable.
I am.
Very approachable. Nobody would have approached me that way, and I would have said, please leave. Get out of my face right now.
Who allowed this person to get in my bubble?
But no, this is a huge deal, in my opinion. This is a thing that...
It's slam dunk, no-brainer.
This is a thing that I think has been talked about and potentially, assumed for almost a year now. I think I heard about this for the first time either very early last basketball season or during volleyball season. It was here's kind of what we're going to do next year. And I'm like, whoa, I cannot wait until that gets here.
Good decision.
Yeah, that is really exciting. So I think for schools that put effort and money into it like Creighton does, and schools that have fan bases to support it, this will be a huge thing. For the rest of the people, it won't make a difference because they don't watch the broadcast anyway and nobody buys the Flow Sports and whatever. But
now I can watch the broadcast.
This is a really big deal for people who just want more access to the teams that that they want to watch.
I was never going to pay the Flow Sports fee.
No.
Sorry, I can say that now.
No, yeah, because best case scenario, you watch. If you're a casual like Josh, you're watching 2 or 3 broadcasts in the flow a year. It just doesn't make any sense to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got ESPN Plus.
I do.
I don't think I know a single person who doesn't have ESPN.
It's on Disney Plus.
Exactly. And chances are it comes with a bundle somewhere. So you now have access to many, 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 many college sports broadcasts. Question for you.
Does that make the Creighton softball players, the Creighton women's soccer player, does that make them Disney princesses?
Let's tell them that because I think they might want to use that.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
You can have that. It's free, Creighton.
Hello. If anybody in the Creighton office is listening.
And I know you are.
Sometimes you are, right? Sometimes you're known to do that. Pass along to maybe some people in the creative office. Maybe they're listening as well. Do a bit involving ESPN Plus, Disney, and princesses and softball team.
Right.
Or basketball team or whatever you want.
Whoever.
In that regard. Exciting. Travis writes in.
Hi, Travis.
OMG, it's Josh Hodson.
That's right. I'm here, folks.
That's right.
Fan freakouts. Josh Hodson 1, Connor Happer 0.
Cody writes in, negative, never played on Flow. Yeah, I can't recall a time in which they did either. This is awesome, though. I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited that we can talk about this out loud now. This is excellent.
We no longer have to pretend to like Flow Sports, people.
Yeah, I don't think there were very many people that were pretending throughout that time either. All right, we still have about 40 or so minutes left to go today before the crossover. We are not even anywhere close to the 7th inning stretch.
We are not, and I don't think it's going to get too much hotter for us in the shade.
Yeah, we're not going to get any sun, that's for sure. So we're good. Come join us for some day baseball out at the ballpark. You apparently have plenty of time. Left in this afternoon's ball game. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back to Werner Park. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Day baseball. Toledo and Omaha are playing a game against each other, and that's all we'll say about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
There is a baseball game going on at the ballpark right now, which by the way, Rich Hill is still pitching in. He is up above 90 pitches, and he just rolled himself a ground ball. Yeah, he's just trying to eat some innings for his boys right now.
Mm-hmm.
Keep him loose down in the bullpen. But
Hop on, kids. I'll take you to the finish line.
Somebody's going to pop up there here in a couple minutes. So we were wondering about this at the beginning of the show, Josh, and now I think we can put some context to it. What will Scott Frost say today that will annoy us / bother us in a mild way?
Oh, you're going to get triggered.
Or that we will, at the very least, pay attention to. Here's one. He addressed which, by the way, I'd like to say this too. He has his tie all cinched up. He
was a loose tie guy.
He never had his tie cinched up at Nebraska. What's up with that? There is no space. Maybe it is a little loose, but it's not at the main podium. It wasn't as loose as it was during his time at Nebraska. I was always weirded out because he was the only person who showed up in a suit and tie at Big Ten Media Days who didn't have it all cinched. It looked like he was getting done with the wedding. You know, he just got off the dance floor.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
That kind of look to it. While everybody else looks like they were going to the wedding. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Here's a quote. He's asked about his experience and the things that he has experienced since leaving UCF. Quote, all experience, good and bad, gives you wisdom and new perspective. The biggest thing I've learned is that you can't do anything alone. You will never walk alone. How's that quote hit you?
Well,
is it true?
It's kind of the whole thing with him, the lack of accountability, and
I remember talking to Scott Frost
things
at
like
Media
that.
Days.
Yeah, good times, good memories.
I see some of these radio show hosts, tweeting out their pictures.
Look at all those Audio Technica headphones.
Well, you know what you see. You know what you don't see in this picture. So I got it. Sons of UCF. They have a radio show or a podcast or something like that. They tweeted out a picture of their conversation with Scott Frost. You know what there's not on the table that there always was at Big Ten Media Days?
Jerky. Chew.
Nope. Yep. Spitter. No spitter.
Huh.
Unless he's using the coffee cup as a spitter, which there's a lid on it.
There's a lid on that.
No, I don't think he's spitting it into there. I mean, he's probably pretty skilled and experienced. He could probably, squeeze it in there, but no spitter and his tie's cinched up.
You think he's
do you think he's...
You think he's changed?
Do you think he won't admit it, but maybe he has kind of grown up a little bit?
Got to get my act together.
Yeah. Just like, do you think there's at all a part of him that looks back, especially to his early days in Nebraska, and looks at himself or watches a video of himself and says, what the hell was I doing? Now, to be fair, we didn't think this at the time. He certainly didn't think this at the time.
Right.
But now we all look back on it and say, boy, that was just a kid who had no idea what he was doing. He had no idea what he was in for, and he thought he ran the world. Like, he thought nobody could touch him. And do you think at all there is a part of him that thinks, boy, I really didn't know what I didn't know back then? Or do you think he thinks about it? Because he will tell you that he does not think about it.
Yes, he will tell you that.
But I have a sneaking suspicion that he knows.
So I think, in small part, he says the Rams really reinvigorated his love for coaching. He wasn't looking to get back into coaching, but this sort of came to him, and it really reinvigorated him. I wonder if he, either consciously or subconsciously, took some notes about how that NFL ran itself. Like, okay, they're doing this. I never did that. That's a good idea.
You know what? You might be right.
Yeah.
There might be more to that than I think he probably wants to on the surface, he wants to just block out all the things that happen in Nebraska because I do think it's painful for him.
Sure.
He cares about Nebraska, and he hates the fact that he, it did not go well.
Uh-huh.
So he probably does look at his NFL experience and say, whoa, I got a bunch of pros around me here. Like, this is a very different environment than what I'm used to.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. I bet there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
I bet there's some truth to that.
No spitter, huh?
Well, as Tips pointed out, he could be gutting it. He's done that before. I've watched him do it before.
Yeah, that was my thought.
He did it at Big Ten Media Days. I think it was either his first – no, it was the one where Adrian was like the Heisman favorite. And Moose did the I just hope we get to 6. Same media days. It was like this is within moments of all these events happening. Moose is out in the hallway doing the I just think we need to get to 6 thing. And Frost is he's inside of this room with all of us, all 40 of us radio people. It's just for the radio people. And so instead of jumping around to every table, he did like a small scrum with just the radio people.
I like that for Nebraska.
And he stood up there for just in the middle of a room for probably 15 to 20 minutes. I have it all on video somewhere. And he had a chew in the whole time. He did not spit ever.
Whew, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's big time. It's big time. Aiden tweets in.
Hi, Aiden.
At Counter Happer. Scott Frost listening to 1620 right now, and then it's the picture of Frost peeking behind the wall at Purdue that one year, which was really, really funny. I don't know. It's hard to get inside that guy's brain. But I guess I just want to hope. I want to think that there is a place deep down inside of him that knows. And as long as he knows, then a lesson gets learned. And that's all you want out of this. You want a lesson to be learned. You want what's best for the guy. And I hope he has the mental capacity to learn the lesson and accept the lesson.
Are you rooting for him, against him, or do you not really care how it goes?
Absolutely for.
Okay.
Not like die hard sitting here on a Saturday like go Scott Frost, but I would much rather he wins than he loses.
I don't want him to go 10-2, but I'd like them to have some success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Individual game on a Saturday, Nebraska's done, or Nebraska doesn't, Nebraska plays on Thursday or something like that. Flip on Scott Frost. You want him to win, right?
Yeah, I think so.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't. People yelled at me the first time I had that take, but I'm not. I don't have any problem with saying that.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with saying that.
I guess that's progress. Incremental progress, right?
I
don't know that fence is ever going to be mended.
I don't know that Nebraska fans need to change their attitude on him. I just think he needs to either have a realization or some sort of come to Jesus moment of this is what happened. But more so, you just want to hear him say, this is where I screwed up.
I just want him to talk about it one time.
This is what I could have done a little bit better. Obviously, no, he didn't have any help, and I wish I had some help, and whatever, and all that stuff. But I wish he would just say, you know what? I probably was young and naive, and I probably thought I was on top of the world, and I really, truly wasn't. And I learned that lesson. That'd be awesome. That would be enough for me. I would go give him a big hug. Maybe a smooch.
Whoa.
If he said that. I would go up to him and smooch him.
Hello.
If he said that. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for saying that. You've learned your lesson. And you could finish writing the Scott Frost book.
There's a corn dog graphic in my head that I'm thinking of. Can't quite put the pieces together. Maybe Stibbs can help me.
Do not use that. Do not use that. Venmo Chris writes in.
Hi, Venmo Chris.
You asked about Scott Frost's record. I would love it if Scofro put a nice 3-9 up for old time's sake.
Well, transition, first year in a transition's tough.
Some people don't. Some people do not want him to be. Some people don't want him to be good because it reflects poorly on Nebraska if he is.
If he can do well there's something wrong with you, right?
Yeah. No doubt. Part of it is us, but part of it is him.
Are we the problem?
Part of the problem.
Wow.
Always have been.
Always?
Yeah. But there are some people who don't care.
And
and they're just like, okay, whatever. I'll just blow through all these problems.
How do you live that life?
Yep. You just have to really not care about what people think. Wow. And in a lot of coaches' cases, that is not true.
A lot of people in Florida, though, despite shame, are just really keeping their head down and barreling forward.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Despite what the people say. All right. We'll take a break. We'll tell you about the future of watching sports.
Oh.
Besides, of course, being here at Werner Park.
This is the future, doing a radio show at a ballpark.
Doing a sports talk show as the actual broadcast of a baseball game is kind of an intriguing idea, to be honest with you. What happened? Line drive?
Yeah. Thought it might have been the first of something of the day for the Storm Chasers, but it was not.
This is a baseball broadcast, Josh. You could talk about no hitters.
Well, the Chasers do not have a hit yet.
They don't have a hit. They're getting no hit.
It's early. It is not to the point where you would say or not say that, but
yeah,
it is a fact.
What point is that point?
I think around the fifth or sixth. You start going, hey, something's happening here.
Yeah, if you have no hits, 2 outs in the fourth, you're like, oh, they don't have a hit yet. That's interesting. If they have no hits, like 2 outs in the sixth, you're like, they're getting no hit.
I believe in the Gage Wood game, I was the fifth. In the fifth inning, I looked around to everyone and I said, we are approaching something's happening territory here.
That game was funny because I wasn't even focused on the fact that there was no hits. I was just focused on the fact that he was striking everyone out.
Yes.
I couldn't get over it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess they have no hits also. I realized that by the end of talking about it. There's a deep drive to center. Back goes the center fielder, and he's got plenty of room. Almost fell down on the track, but he's got it. And the Storm Chasers are still hitless through 4. We're on to the 5th, 7-0 Mud Hens, and we'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back to Werner Park, everybody. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. The Mudhens have opened up a 9-0 lead on Omaha. Rich Hill has exited the game to make way for another man, and he has given up a home run as well.
So a lot of these have been 2-run home runs as well.
Yes, that most recent one by former New York Met Tomas Nido.
I believe that is 4 2-run home runs.
That's pretty good. But looks like they did just get an out there, so congratulations.
Boom.
All right, so the future of watching sports. Josh, admittedly recently I have been very old man. Very old man.
A lot of forgive me for being old man here, but
yeah,
you and John Bishop handshake meme.
And I don't regret it. Like I understand what corner that paints me in. I hate everything new and I hate everything cool or what the kids deem to be cool, but
you hate micro retirements.
I definitely hate that it's called that by the Gen Zers, or I hate the fact that they think that they invented vacation, but that's a separate thing. So you might see something new and you might think, oh my God, Happer will probably hate this because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically just a different version of something that we already have.
Okay, yeah, this sounds like something you would hate.
So let me introduce you to a company called Cosm.
Cosm.
Now, dumb name, I'll give him that. Cosm. C-O-S-M.
C-O-S-M. Okay.
Cosm. They have opened up.
Rhythm, Cosm is rhythm.
Exactly. They're opening up their 5th venue. Josh hates venues. There's a hit. Venue in Cleveland. They have locations in Dallas, Atlanta, Detroit, and now Cleveland. I saw this. Here's what hooked me, Josh. I saw this video yesterday, and I thought it was my real life. We don't need any audio on this, Joey, necessarily. No, we don't need any audio on this at all. But, Josh, watch along with this on video. And if you're watching along on the stream, here it is. And I thought that this was a video from the Michigan Texas game last year. But it's basically a sphere-like place. A couple thousand capacity. You go there. You put a sports game on, or you put The Matrix on, you put a movie on, or something like that, and it is like a live 3D experience watching what could be a sporting event. So, once again, you might think, Happer's very old. He would probably hate this. He probably hates 3D movies and immersive experiences and Oculuses and things like that, and I do. But this was intriguing to me. I would go to this random dome place built by Cosm and watch a sports game. That actually sounds awesome.
That's why you said The Matrix, because they are showing The Matrix.
Yeah, I went to their website.
Okay.
They're showing The Matrix, yeah.
It's like, what a random pull. But yeah, I would definitely go try this at least once.
It's basically like watching a movie for you, Josh.
Yeah, I love movies.
So they can... I assume this video that I put up there was one from Dallas, maybe, and then they kind of
that would make
the whole
sense.
thing is made of like an LED board, and you can you can Texas it out if you've got a bunch of Texas fans in there for the game. So their goal is apparently to open 50 locations within the next 5 years.
Whoa!
I would assume Omaha is on the list, if not on the little extended list after that. For one of these places. Fascinating. This is fascinating to me.
The one in Dallas is going to show Rangers Astros. They're going to show USA volleyball versus China.
Okay.
That's where Lexi Rodriguez is playing, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
This I don't know the name of it. This volleyball tournament that they're having.
All right, big volleyball tournament.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I don't usually like 3D stuff. I don't usually get on board with these fully immersive experiences when I just have reality, right?
Reality, pretty good.
I like watching a ball game at the ball game. But
no screen in front of us here.
I will say this too, Josh. A football game, which is as uncomfortable of a sport watching experience as you could ever have, right? You're packed in with 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000 people. They're all really drunk. We're shoulder to shoulder. The seats are uncomfortable, like depending on, I guess, what you're doing, where you're sitting at the game, whatever it might be. Football is an uncomfortable watch. But if you go watch it at a Cosm, and it's like you're there, but you're more comfortable and you're getting served. Now that's an intriguing idea
now,
to me.
For the radio audience, the seats at this place had you in the back of the end zone. I
assume they changed the angles.
Yeah,
to that?
I would think so. There's 2 sections at one of these theaters. You can sit in the dome for $44 or the hall for $11.
Fascinating. I would sit in the dome for sure.
Not overly expensive by any means.
You're probably spending a lot of money on food, and beer.
But you would anyway if you were going to the game and you had crappy seats.
I'd rather do this than go to the movie.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
What movie?
Any of the movies.
Any of the movies.
Really, any movies, yeah.
The 50th anniversary of Jaws.
I heard it was recently the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
The only time that's ever happened.
It's always the 50th anniversary of Jaws. People keep telling me it is anyway.
They celebrate that movie a lot.
Yeah, they do.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Let's have Michael Severe on and have him talk about it.
It's a historically important
Look
movie.
at you, knowing the facts about movies.
Yeah, I know some things about some things. Elsewhere, one more topic. Oh, yes, Josh, you have to do your Harry Potter quiz.
I don't know if we're going to have time.
It's only 1:31.
How do I do one of those?
We probably got like 6 or 7 minutes left in this segment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I was just going to make you do a
Harry Potter house.
Because the Omaha Storm Chasers are hosting Harry Potter night this weekend. Let me get the official date for you. It's Friday. You sign up on their website beforehand, and you could pick which house you want to be in. And then whichever house you're in out of the 4, you get a scarf. A Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff or a Slytherin or a Ravenclaw.
I have to register for something.
Okay. You don't have to.
Now this is but don't I want to be sorted at harrypotter.com instead of BuzzFeed?
No, I think in this specific case, because of the quickness we want to achieve this, you want to go to an offshoot.
Okay.
Yeah, because harrypotter.com, I mean, I don't know if you want to be involved with harrypotter.com at all.
I don't want them having my email. Not to sound like Nick, I don't want them having my information.
Given your history, Josh, I don't think that you would enjoy that really at all.
No.
Getting Harry Potter
this is a lot of words.
I know.
Ready, get sorted.
Texture wonders, our YouTuber Bayamon wonders if we're going to get to the Caitlin Clark thing instead.
Well, we got to do this Harry Potter thing. Now, am I to read the questions aloud or just do it while you're doing show?
No, I want to go through it question by question.
Okay.
How many questions are there?
Great question.
Wow.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
God.
17 questions.
I don't think we have enough time for that or the Caitlin.
Maybe
Clark
we could
thing.
start it.
Yeah.
And then come back from a break and have the answer
All right, go
or
ahead.
something.
Go ahead.
You've made it to Hogwarts, which means you've already bought a wand from Ollivanders. What material is at its core? How the hell am I supposed to know?
Well, what sounds the coolest to you? Phoenix
Dragon?
feather, dragon heartstring, or unicorn hair? You're going with the dragon.
I'm going dragon.
Okay.
Sorry. During the end of year exams, you noticed that one of your classmates was using an enchanted quill. You come top of the class anyway, but they are second. What do? Tell the professor? Nothing. Encourage the other student to admit they've been cheating.
Knock?
Give them a
question.
high five for managing to sneak the quill into the exam.
You seem like a stay in your own lane
I'm gonna
type
go
of guy.
nothing. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm better than him anyway.
Yeah.
It's everyone else that should care.
But the one that you picked was I'm not going to do anything unless they finished number 1.
Oh,
And if you hadn't finished number one, you would have knocked.
All these other things are be a knock.
Except for give them a high five for managing them to sneak the kill.
I don't want to condone cheating openly.
Okay. All right. That probably is your most acceptable answer then.
Okay. You would be most hurt if a person called you weak, ignorant, unkind, or boring.
Oh.
Very
interesting.
Probably unkind.
Yeah.
All right.
You're very kind.
You've
You
locked,
do two more of this segment.
you're locked in a duel with a skilled opponent. They fire an unknown spell at you, and you shout, Expelliarmus, Protego, Stupefy, Crucio.
Mm-hmm. Which one of those do you exclaim? It's got to be one of them.
It would definitely be one of those four things and not the F word. Stupefy, I think.
All right.
Like that one. It's your 5th year at Hogwarts. That sounds like a lot. And you've just received a howler from your parents. What for? Sneaking into the Forbidden Forest on a dare, getting caught cheating in the divination owl.
Great.
Being put in detention after I was caught in the library after hours. Nothing. I'd never do anything to warrant a howler. Well,
what do you think you would do to get a howler?
I don't think I would do any of those things. Probably sneaking into the forest, though, if I had to pick one.
Yeah, I mean, it's called a forbidden forest, which is just enticing.
Yeah. I'd probably try and hey, babe, you want to go to the Forbidden Forest tonight?
Yeah, sure.
Like something like that.
Of course. Yeah, that's the way you think of yourself.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
one more question.
Which of these Dumbledore quotations speaks to you?
Oh, great.
Pity the living and above all those who live without love. Words are, in my not-so-humble opinion, our most inexhaustible source of magic.
Ooh.
It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be.
Bars.
And finally, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.
Home run, Carter Jensen. He does it again.
It's a hit for the Chasers.
Yes, and a run. Excellent. Which of those Dumbledore quotes means the most to you?
I'm going to go the first one. Pity the living and above all those who live without love.
That's bars.
Okay.
Thank you, Dumbledore.
Okay.
Josh will continue to answer the questions during the break. We'll come back. We'll tell you which house he belongs in. Also get to the poll questions and round out the show next on 1620 The Zone. right, quickly here. Another Scott Frost quote has hit.
Throw out the prep sheet for unsportsmanlike conduct today.
No, I don't know if you have to do that, but it's of note.
They promised not to talk about him ever again.
That's true. So we'll see if that's able to hold up today. UCF coach Scott Frost on what he learned from Nebraska. I assume this is off podium, like
small group.
Chris Vanini tweeted this out, so maybe he was just talking to Chris Vanini. Here's what Scott Frost learned from his time at Nebraska. Quote, don't take the wrong job. Oh,
Might garner some conversation.
Yeah, I don't think he's taking any responsibility.
Well, he was alone.
No, he was alone, and it was the job that was the problem. That was it. That's my takeaway from the Scott Frost era.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, for sure. To the polls at Happer Show. Oh, yes. Josh, what house are you?
I am 30% Ravenclaw, 25% Gryffindor, 24% Slytherin, and 21% Hufflepuff.
You're basically a little bit of everything.
Yeah. What does that mean? You believe in the importance of wisdom, which is why you belong in Ravenclaw. Your sense of adventure means you have an affinity for Gryffindor. You're a thrill seeker. You love to travel. I don't know that I love to travel. I'm brave, so I fit in Ravenclaw. Your slight compatibility with Slytherin House suggests a determination to succeed, though not at the expense of traits from your more dominant houses.
Gotcha. So a little Slytherin.
A little Slytherin in there.
Well, Ravenclaw, our Ravenclaw boy, Josh Hodson.
That's me.
You can get your Ravenclaw thing. Scarf. Oh, almost a nice catch by Joey Weimer out there. Ravenclaw scarf this Friday at Werner Park. To the polls at Happer Show. Do you love the ambient sound of a ballpark?
You better.
Yeah, I do. I really do. 88%, overwhelmingly, yes.
My people.
Are Pop-Tarts a great drunk snack? Did Gary say this?
Matt said this.
I mean, yeah, I don't usually have Pop-Tarts on hand. I think yes, though.
Okay.
55% say no. Does the SEC hate caps? Big time.
Yeah.
77% say yes. Are there hard copies of money anymore? Barely. 53% say no.
Oh, wow.
Is Disney World Children's Vegas?
Yeah.
86% say yes. Those are the poll questions. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We are watching Major League Baseball. It's on our television tonight. Once again, thanks to Joey for sending this to me. Dodgers Brewers, 6 o'clock on TBS. Clayton Kershaw versus Mizorowski.
Jacob.
This guy's pitched like 4 games in the bigs, and he's a huge star now.
Well, it's possible.
It is. And then the Braves are at the Athletics tonight, 9 o'clock on Major League MLB Network. We'll dip in, look at a AAA stadium hosting 2 big league teams. WNBA, Las Vegas at New York, 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN. The last 2 teams to win it all, the last 3 titles, collide on ESPN tonight. Summer League in Salt Lake City. You can watch Hunter Salas and the Sixers take on the Grizzlies at 6 o'clock. And then Thunder Jazz follows that at 8 o'clock, both those games on NBA TV. There's also Summer League California on ESPN at 9 o'clock. Lakers Spurs. Tennis, Wimbledon, men's and women's quarterfinals today and tomorrow on ESPN. And finally, on Netflix tonight, for all you football perverts, it's season 2 of Quarterback. Follow Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins during the 2024-2025 NFL season.
I'm sure it'll get aggregated somewhere.
The thing I've seen aggregated the most is Kirk Cousins' reaction to the Falcons drafting a quarterback.
I actually, now that you say that, I did see a quote on him. It was like, I just wish I would have known. I wouldn't have left Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of liked my deal there.
Well, if you liked it enough, you should have stayed.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
So we're watching tonight. That is the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. We'll stick around for the crossover coming up next.